think like I just didn't feel like doing that isn't a really good explanation. To say that, okay, yeah, I'm just getting in and plugging everything in, and then all of a sudden to take so long to get the stream ready to go is another matter. So sorry about the troubles there. We will definitely have a good time in between. There's a little bit of talking that I will do before then, but let me just take a quick minute here. I'm going to play around with my Twitch alerts because I didn't before. I noticed that the first queue on everything doesn't trigger. So I'm just gonna fire off each one of the announcements and see. We may not need any or all of them, but I figure it'd be reasonable enough to get going. Alright, so we'll give ourselves a follower.
I would never want to belong to any club that would have someone like me for them.
Donation. Yeah, notice there's no video on that. Oh, there we go.
For lack of a better word, is good.
And finally, the host, which never seems to trigger. Hey, Miss Ariella, how's it going? Alright, so if we get hosted tonight, that'll be a really interesting test to see whether or not the alert actually works. Obviously, with the other ones, for things like follows and things like that, you know, those happen frequently enough that maybe the first one doesn't properly trigger. The host, I don't... Well, no, there's definitely been times where I've been hosted by more than one person, and it still doesn't seem to have gone off, but I don't know, we'll figure it out. But, Miss Ariella, how's it going? Good to see you again. Is Weebro still streaming?
What is left will suffice to deal with you.
I'll take a minute before I go into this. So, I'll get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. We've got Mondays have actually become really interesting to me because I take a look at all the games I've got installed. I've got to take a look at all the games that I own and haven't got installed. Take a look at all the games that I would like to do for the stream. And I'm a little bit spoiled for choice. Now, I think Hand of Fate is a really great game. If you are on the fence about it, get it. If you haven't seen it before, either watch this stream, watch better streams, get an idea of it for yourself. But this game gets a big warm recommendation for me. I think it has all the elements that I like about gaming. Oh, thank you very much for the host, Superior Blaze. It appears that alert still isn't working.
For eons, I have waited for an appropriate player. It seems there are more eons ahead.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I should have gone back to the opening menu to avoid the snarky remarks from the dealer. So, there's a lot of games that I would like to do before the end of the summer. I'm starting to kind of narrow down on some things like Kerbal Space Program and how I'm going to wind up playing those. So I'm looking forward to stuff like that. Over the last week, I've been doing a lot more co-casts, so I hope you guys have been able to catch some of those. Yesterday was Beyond Sol with Tony Loran, Sleepbringer, Skunk Odor. I believe that was all of the streamers. I'll briefly deal with, so for a couple of the people who were in the chat, I definitely left that stream on some pretty strange circumstances. So I will say I did wind up a little bit frustrated in the chat because somebody was being quite insistent about a particular issue. But the big thing to keep in mind on that one is that things are absolutely fine between us. I chatted with Tony after the after the stream, we're fine. I'm looking forward to doing the next one there. The difficulty that we run into on those is that if there's an issue that comes up on the course of a stream, the worst thing that I could do would be to sit down and hash it out live on air with everybody. So in that case, especially because I'd already been streaming for about 6 hours, and then, there's no idea how long something like Wanderlust is going to take. In that case, the best option out of, maybe a group of particularly bad ones was just to drop the chat at that moment. So it seemed very abrupt, and I won't lie, like I wasn't exactly that thrilled by some of the stuff that I was reading in chat shortly afterwards. But with that in mind, like, it was more so with an idea of like, okay, well, let's just leave at the Beyond Sol note without any, without dragging the stream down anywhere beyond that. So everything is fine on that regard. We'll be doing future streams on it, but I did actually get a couple of messages regarding that, the end of that stream. So everything's good. I apologize if that made people uncomfortable or didn't, cause the stream to be less than what it could have at the time. But these things happen. It is kind of one of the drawbacks of the live format. So in that case, I thought kind of cutting things off before they became bad would be the best bet. And then Leth said something that I thought was a little wasn't exactly that constructive, so I just kind of left after that. So it seems like a lot of my streaming, so it seems like I've kind of just been doing 2 of my own broadcasts a week, and what's been happening, in place of doing another day on the stream like I was kind of hoping to, I seem to be teaming up with other people. Oh, Miss Ariella, thank you very much for that, host. I apologize that you don't get to see the host alert, but let me just hit that on its own so you can enjoy the experience. The audio is still decent. I'm gonna have to play around with Twitch alerts a little bit. Hey, CPO Williams, how's it going? But yeah, so instead of kind of adding another day like I had intended, it looks like it's just been a lot of co-casts, which I'm okay with. And actually, I've been talking with my Dota 2 co-caster, Nick the Peasant. We're talking a little bit about different things that we can do, both for the International, which is coming up, as well as so that's video, like that's casting content, and then of course there is the idea of a podcast, which I've wanted to do for a while. So we're talking about that. I don't have anything concrete. So with that in mind, more content is definitely on the way. As far as adding another day, I'm not quite sure how that'll work, just because Team Panda has been really great at sort of getting organized for these multicast things, which I'm really happy to be a part of, and I want to keep contributing to. But if you find that you're not getting enough notice for those, just feel free to let me know. I'll try and kind of catch up for you guys in terms of announcing them. But it's also been a little bit fly-by-night for me as well. So I'll try to get some more advance notice. I will let you know when I know, and we'll find a better way of doing these hosting things. I'd also like to point out, so Miss Ariella, who has been... Thanks, Miss Ariella. Sorry, I'm catching up with everybody. So, Miss Ariella, who just hosted me alongside Superior Blaze. I believe Superior Blaze is I haven't seen your application yet, actually, but I believe Superior Blaze is aspiring to join Team Panda. And then, let me turn off those notifications. Thank you very much for the tweet. Let me turn off my Mac notifications. So, Superior Blaze, I think, last I talked with him, he was interested in applying with Team Panda. Apologies if I'm doing that. If you haven't submitted your application, feel free to do that whenever you feel ready. Miss Ariella is a present member of Team Panda. Not only is a present member of Team Panda, but a Vancouver member of Team Panda, which is important to me because Vancouver is well, not the exact municipality I live in, but the Greater Vancouver area is where I live. And in addition to that, that is where Seriously Clara resides, and we will be doing a Twitch meetup. So I've had the pleasure of meeting Miss Ariella and her delightful Australian accent. She's really fun to be around. We shared Kappa shots, we shared stories. She glared at me from across the restaurant because I was trapped into my own little booth on my own. But what's most... Oh, okay, fair enough, Superior Blaze. Yeah, if you ever want to talk about it, feel free to let me know. I should actually probably note that my own link down below for Team Panda, I think I have an application link which is now defunct because we've closed down the forums, but we're definitely still accepting applications for Team Panda, so. But I'm singing the praises of Miss Ariella, so everybody's gonna point out the accent. Like, I am actually half Australian, but I don't have the accent. But Miss Ariella is a lot of fun to be around. She has a good stream. One of my deep regrets about Team Panda is the fact that there are a lot of really good streamers on it. You've got kind of, I'd say, like a 90% probability about finding another streamer that you'll really like. Miss Ariella, I think the last few times I've been able to catch her live, she's been playing The Sims. She does a really good job of The Sims, because like I've played it a couple of times myself and I found it fun, but not quite enough where I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna live stream The Sims forever. But she genuinely makes it fun. She's got this beautiful rapport with Weebro, so even if they're not necessarily doing a co-cast or something like that, her interaction with him alone is worth watching the stream for. And more importantly, I'd say probably more so than myself, has a really good sense in terms of Twitch and keeping an interactive experience with an audience, like being conscious of what the audience needs, interacting with them, making the chat fun to be in. So if you like streams which are oriented more around the personality and connecting with chat, she does a much better job of that than I do, and I can't recommend her more for that reason. And of course, she's just fun to be around on her own, of course. So let me catch up with everybody. Kite, thank you very much. How's it going? Good to see you. What else do we have here? So many amazing streamers. Yeah, that's the big thing about too. I was actually talking with Jesse Quill about this. Jesse Quill, obviously a member of Team Panda, and certainly kind of the one who kind of sets the bar for me, at least as far as quality and professionalism goes. Although that's not to say, obviously I sang the praises of Miss Ariella for a reason. It's hard to rank them because everybody kind of seems to have their very good niche in which I would say they're the expert on, and the reason why, out of, you know, if you want to slice down all of the individual things that Team Panda does very well. But obviously Jessie Quill, for me, especially because she's been such a long-standing member of the team, has kind of given me a lot of guidance. So I often tend to defer to her as sort of my ideal of a stream. But we were talking about kind of the Team Panda brand, if you will, and the streamers inside of it. And I'm really happy to say it would be harder for me to say, as a Team Panda member who's really not worth watching, than it would be for me to say it's like, oh yeah, this is a really great way to keep doing your time. The only thing I'd say is it'd be wonderful if we could get down rotations where there's basically at least one Team Panda member streaming at a given time in a 24-hour cycle. It would be awesome if I could like always have a Team Panda member to host at the end of the night. But obviously everybody's kind of doing this on their own time, so it's a wonderful dream, but it's not always that easy to get going. Kite, good God, man. 18-hour shift today, set up to stream and crashed at your desk. So, speaking of these great Team Panda members, we've got Kite260. So I was talking about Superior Blaze, who's apparently got an application impending on Team Panda. Kite260 frequently streams with him. Kite260 is a really great... Chalk is best at Grand Strategy only because CPO Williams is not in Team Panda. I guess we'll find out on Saturday, won't we? Yeah, I don't do a stream based around my skill, that's for sure. And of course, everybody got to see my grand strategy at play and Beyond Sol, so. But let's give Kite his due. Kite is a fellow. I mean, so first of all, I see Kite all over the place. I also see CPO Williams all over the place, incidentally. But Kite is a fellow member of Team Panda. Really generous guy, really kind guy. Another stream that's worth going into. One thing I will say about him is that some of my favorite moments on his stream have been his co-casts with Superior Blaze. So he's somebody who, one, like, nice layout, nice setup for a stream, plays a lot of good games that I've been really interested in. He's done Axiom Verge, Portal 2. I can't remember the name of this platformer that he was playing, but I've always had fun watching the games that he plays on there. As a personality, you cannot ask for a nicer guy, and I'm proud to say I've also been able to have private correspondence with him as well, and he's every bit as gracious as he is in public, which is not always something that you can say about people. But in addition to these personal qualities that he has, obviously, as is the case with Miss Ariella, I can always sing the person's individual praises as a person. But a guy whose stream I really enjoy watching, and very much like Miss Ariella, I find myself at odds sometimes with being able to read books and going outside for a walk or something like that and spending the time in Twitch. So people who I don't spend nearly as much time in their streams as I would like to, but people who are very much worth the time taking a visit to. So if you have not already clicked on those names, hit the follow buttons. I would strongly recommend doing so. So, Australia is going back... Australia. Ariella is going back to Australia at the end of the year, so maybe the wish will come true. Well, Ariella, I will be very sorry to see you go from Vancouver. I suspect you have good reasons for being in Australia. But I don't know if this is always the plan, but I very much look forward to being able to catch some local Australian casts. I actually have some family in there as well, so if they don't get a chance to view my streams, perhaps they will get a chance to view more of yours. But yeah, you definitely, when I have a
cities to waste.
If I have a late night cast, I've got an immediate option for hosting at the end. All right, so all the housekeeping out of the way. Again, more games coming along. We'll start with Hand of Fate. Whether we finish with Hand of Fate is another question. Let's take a look at the deck builder. Sure, we've got what we need there. So let's draw our first Hand of Fate.
All the world is a game board, and us men and women merely players. I alone do not play. I maintain the rules. You have choices, and I have predestination. Your choices, though, are merely a rediscovery of that which you already know.
All right, well, I'm glad to hear that, Miss Aurelia. And, of course, I always look forward to... It's always... I move terribly, even if I move closer to UBC so that I can, I can spend less time on the commute and live closer to campus. I always hate the process of moving, but for whatever reason, whenever I hear it in other people, I'm always excited for the opportunities that's going to give to them. So I'm definitely much more looking forward to a chance to meet you again at something like the Twitch meetup. And then, of course, we'll talk about that next chapter of your life a little bit closer to the time. But I definitely wish you the best, both in the immediate future and the distant future. Hand of Fate was the first game you streamed. That's awesome, CPO Williams. I think I sat in and lurked on one of your streams in the past, but I don't think I've ever actually talked to you live on a stream. So I'm already following you, right?
Take your time if you like.
Yeah.
I've waited long enough.
Oh, hang on. Did I just unfollow you? Okay, well, I've refollowed you now if I just unfollowed you, but... If you get an email notification, that's number 2. Anyways, yeah, I don't think I actually said hi in your stream last time, but I didn't know you played Hand of Fate, so I'm going to have to sit in and watch that. On Sleep Stream... Don't quite follow the Sleep Stream comment, but anyways. What do we have to deal with the Matriarch of the Dragon People, or Queen of Dragons. Toxic Blood. Any hit on the player during combat has a chance to poison the attacker. That's my my boon. Okay, cool. All right, so we talked about this the last time. By the way, I'm going to say the last column is harder than anything you will run into in the previous levels. So I'm probably going to wind up dying this playthrough. Stuck around for 5 minutes. I'm glad you can remember. The
Whimsy
altar.
and caprice, the domains of the old gods. Were they always thus, or has age corrupted their natures?
On a deserted hilltop in a faraway land, you discover an old altar. The gods of the old religion are powerful yet unpredictable in their favors. Do you wish to pray at the altar? Yes. So you can get 3 chances of success and 1 at huge failure.
Choose from these
So
options.
I actually learned that there is, these may be randomly assigned, but you can actually follow the cards as they get shuffled. I didn't follow too closely this time though, so let's go for this one. On bended knee, you beseech the gods to aid you in your quest. A distant rumbling and a flash of lightning answers your prayer. Draw 1 blessing card, and this card's token is now yours. Self-righteous. On any
Many of
hit,
these blessings are too good for the likes of you.
on any hit, the player inflicts 2 more damage for each blessing they possess. So what I want to do
One more
on...
piece of the puzzle for you.
You're streaming for your Xbox because I don't have any cool equipment like you, Chalk. Well, remember, I'm playing from my school computer. The only thing that I have now, and this was partially just due to your guys' encouragement on my early streams, is the Audio-Technica AT2020 microphone, which apparently is a little bit more sensitive than I had thought, if Tony Loran's TeamSpeak is any indication. But we do the best that we can. Certainly my intention is to build a proper gaming computer. That's actually one thing I forgot to mention, was when I talked with Peasant. He is currently in San Francisco working for a gaming company now. He's a guy who has a business background, definitely a lot better at the, at interactions with HR people, just generally a little bit savvier in the business world. Also, a really great guy, like a guy who very selflessly helps other people. So I really like talking with him in addition to casting with him. Obviously, co-casting as far as Dota 2. I haven't done a stream with him. But he gave me a couple of indications that if I was considering working in that industry, he would give me a hand setting myself up in San Francisco. Kind of talked a little bit about the NAFTA agreement, how I would wind up working in the States if I so decided to take that path, and sort of gave me some ideas about roughly what I would expect as far as salary. I certainly haven't made any plans because, as far as my education plans are concerned, I'm doing the master's not for another piece of paper, but because I really want to see whether or not I'm cut out to become an academic, whether or not I'm cut out to pursue a PhD. So if I were to find that out, I mean, it would be very foolish of me to say, I'm going to try this very difficult thing and see whether or not I'm cut out for sort of what I would consider to be this high aspiration of intellectual achievement, or at least, the certification to give this indication of my greater contribution to the field, whatever that may be. It would seem very wrong of me to embark on that intermediate step and then just start planning what my private sector job would be. I feel like if I was going to do that, I should probably just apply to jobs straight out of undergrad. But with that in mind, once I do start pulling in some kind of a sufficient income, my intention is to buy a proper streaming PC and just really put in some effort to give you a much higher quality stream than what I've been able to so far. Alright, while crossing a forest clearing, you meet a peasant woman. Greetings, stranger. The winter has been hard on my family this year. In the forest behind her, you sense movement. I will give her 1 food. The woman takes your food eagerly, passing it to some children who suddenly rush from the forest, hands outstretched. While the children eat, the woman speaks briefly of what she has seen and heard recently. And we get to see what's going on. So, the original thing I was going to say was that at the moment, I have enough food to kind of get me through each of these encounters. So the ideal situation is for me to find the exit last. One of the reasons why I didn't immediately go to the right is that each path that I take to the left gives me sort of a guarantee, like, unless it's truly random distribution of cards, which it almost certainly isn't. I'm not going to run into the exit here. I'm not going to run into the exit here. Or at least I think it's very unlikely that I would. So the path to the left and the path below give me a chance of running into an encounter that will give me an advantage. This one to the right, at best, can give me one encounter. At worst is the exit itself, which means that I spend this time not only backtracking, but then taking two, and then coming back. It sort of ensures the maximum number of turns.
Come now, hurry up.
Which means
Don't
that
have forever.
I'm going to have the maximum amount of food consumed. So in this particular case here, I made the right call to go to take one of the other paths. Now I am still going to consume a lot of food going through these, but I think it's worth it because in the end, the rat hunting party, I believe, can potentially give you food as a result of the combat, and if I can beat the apprentice, then hopefully that gives me the token, which I don't believe I got the last time as well. Again, I'm talking like this is a very in-depth strategy game. It's not exact, like Hand of Fate has some strategic elements, but in the end, like the big part is the combat elements. But these are the sort of the things that I think about when I'm playing. Like, I wish I was better at poker. Certainly, you know, I have a background in statistics, which inevitably mean to do statistics, all that you need is access to a program like R. Like, if you want free access to a very robust piece of statistical software, just go download R. It's open source software, it's free, it's just as good as anything else that you can get. A little difficult to, like, so unlike, let's say, a program like Stata, which is sort of the workhorse of economics, you don't have any graphical menus with which you can find certain concepts. But generally, if you're willing to put in the time to learn a couple of lines of code or something like that, you can basically do whatever you want in R. Now, the important thing here is that because we've had improvements in terms of statistical programming, you don't necessarily need to know a lot of the theory to do stats anymore, right? Like, everybody knows what an average is, and if I just tell you that an average is a central tendency and that there's a few different ways of measuring a central tendency, perhaps you want to use mode, median, mean. Generally, we talk about the mean when we talk about an average, but other than finer distinctions like this, as long as you kind of know the names for things, you can just run a piece of software and you'll be able to get what you want out of that data fairly easily. The trick here, though, is that it's one thing to get some numbers, it's another thing to interpret the output. To maybe give you an example, you know, we're always looking for statistically significant results. And computing power is such that I don't think it would be that difficult to just take a collection of data sets that you thought were worthwhile or interesting and then just kind of brute force your way through different specifications, different regressions, and then have your algorithm identify any results that are, let's say, 5% or 1% significant. The challenge with this, of course, is that the meaning of, you know, significance at 5% or 1% is that, you know, you're talking about the probability with which a result is misidentified. I still don't know how to pronounce it. It's either receiver or rectier, an items drop tail. Sorry, I didn't acknowledge that the first time, but now I'm going to have to take a look at it. The trick with this, of course, is that you're talking about the probability with which you get an incorrect answer. And once you start kind of looking through, let's hypothesize all the data sets in the world that you've developed this, you know, you've made deep thought, which is going to just go through and look at every piece of data and do every combination of regression that it can. Inevitably, some percentage, by the definition of statistical significance, some percentage of those results are going to be incorrect. And so there's a great value in sitting down, first of all, working out your model, working out your hypotheses, actually doing the hard human component, thinking about what you want to do, then doing the regressions, then interpreting the results, and using the different tools that you have to motivate the analysis that you personally are doing. Using statistics as a tool as opposed to the you know, the last word on everything. Again, you always want to bring evidence to bear on the questions that you ask. But the key here is that for the method that I'm advocating, and the way that I don't think it's very controversial to say that most people who use these tools conduct themselves, that requires a bit of an understanding in terms of the mathematics that are operating behind statistics, which means a degree of probability. But with that background, I'm still not very good at poker. Yeah, by the way, that entire digression was just a way of me saying that I'm not good at poker. It's largely because I'm very impatient, but it kind of leads me to sort of analyze situations like this and say, what is the minimum impact that I can have in terms of the the resources that can get consumed on my way to a particular exit. So anyways, I draw a
Every
monster
time
card.
we turn the
Oh,
prism,
cool.
we
Queen of
discover
Plague.
new ways to meet old friends.
I remember the Queen of Plague was being a bit of a nuisance. By the way, it's worth mentioning, I actually haven't played, I don't think I've played the game since the last time I streamed it. So, hopefully I remember the controls. Apparently I don't. Man, I'm already down to 62 health on the first encounter. Oh, he's dead. Hey, Unknown Arc, how's it going? Not much. You actually just missed a lot of talking. So we are going after the Queen of Dragons. I actually this is my first combat encounter of this level, but I'm down to 55 out of 100 health. I really didn't handle that well. I did notice that we're at the point now where the game has certainly amped up in its difficulty. But with that in mind, I really didn't handle that encounter well at all. Hope you're doing well tonight, though. Because my hero certainly isn't. And we gained 3 food, so hopefully...
I'm sure you're grateful for that.
Walking... I mean, the nice thing is that I've got, after this apprentice encounter, I've got basically 3 movements to recharge my health. So as long as I don't lose too much on this upcoming encounter, I should be okay.
Of course, mages have their own rules. Power, mostly.
One day you happen upon a young wizard practicing his magic in the forest. He greets you in a friendly manner and beckons you closer. I am but an apprentice wizard with many debts to my mentors. For a small fee, I could transport you to a destination in a faraway land. Pay 5 food for a teleportation spell, or 15 gold for a teleportation spell. I really don't want to give up either, but the token is a very tempting offer. So let's pay the 5 food and see what it gives me. Came in at a semi-decent time and I did my best. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, again, I think pretty much everybody's established that this stream is definitely not about high-skilled plays. It's a little bit more of a chance to share some of the games that I find really interesting, discuss them with you guys. And, hey, Nukem! Man, now I'm going to have to explain to everybody why there's a guy with a green sword in here. So, Nukem is actually the first person to ever hang out in this channel while I was setting myself up for a stream. He is a big fan of Hand of Fate himself. So I've been having more than a little bit of fun with him in terms of the difficulty that he's running into in the last column, or the last row of bosses. And you are absolutely right. Oh, thank you very much, Ms. Ariella. So Nukem, in addition to being a friend of mine going back...
It has been called the Game of Eternity that we play. I didn't think that meant you'd take forever to make a decision, mind.
A. Newcomb is actually a friend of mine going back to high school. He is somebody who actually works in the game industry, though I will leave it to him to say what he does if he so chooses. But I more or less modded him for being the first person inside of here. I do not believe he understands any of the commands in here, so please do not consider this to be any change in the mod policy on the channel. This is just pure nepotism, pure and simple. So it is not that I am suddenly applied for mods or anybody who is interested in doing that role has been passed over. This is just what he this is just what he does. And now I need to be on my best behavior because that last encounter really sucked, and he is not going to let me hear the end of it as far as the the quality of my play is concerned. Although on this note, I will say, how many times do you hear that you have a nice voice while you're playing Hand of Fading, Newcomb? Eh? I don't know. Green sword thingy probably just means you paid money to Twitch. All right, the young wizard waves his hand, saying, "Don't worry, I'm almost always successful in transporting myself to other places. Luggage is a little trickier." After arriving at your destination, you continue your journey. Oh, cool. So I didn't even need to use the food to get to the exit.
Your currency is spent, your memories tattered and torn, formed into mere cards for us to play with.
A. Newcomb just typed ban Endor's 12. Endor's... Damn it! This is a small channel. I need all the loyalty I can get. How you doing tonight, by the way? I don't think I said hi to you yet. Read until you mentioned it. I'll show you what a red command looks like. Or I guess red badge, not shield. You're secure enough to admit that? Oh, that's fine. I've got plenty of... I don't think it's a sexuality thing to recognize radio voices.
Again,
though it's not my...
swamps claim you.
Not my determinant. It is something I'm very happy for other people to say. For myself, I just kind of buy the mic and hope it makes up for any of my personal defects. Akadak, how's it going? Carney, good to see you again. Man, all the good people are here. Akadak, you might be happy to know that I was talking with my Dota 2 co-caster, and we're trying to work out dealing with... See, he called them the International 5 qualifiers, except that I think the qualifiers have already passed, but apparently we are going to wind up doing some actual game casting for something. It's obviously not going to be for Valve, but we've been talking about doing casts on Twitch for some live games, so hopefully you'll get a chance to see some of those. You'll probably actually be in Seattle at the time, but if you have access to some Twitch, we'll try and give you some of that content, because I know I really haven't followed through on the Dota 2 content as well as I wanted to. There's a few reasons for that, but you probably know most of them through chat. Unknown Arc, CPO, yeah, Axe talking about all the good people. Yeah, all the people. A. Newcomb's going to continue dying at Dark Souls, but know that I'm watching, Chalk, and if you bomb a fight, I will mock you. That's fine, A. Newcomb. I just hope that you stream Dark Souls.
For lack of a better word.
Oh my god. So, I think it's labeling...
Dak here. Just wanted to donate you some money and say that you're awesome and stuff.
So why do I have a feeling that when I check Twitch alerts, I'm not going to see Akakadak's name attached to that? It's not loading up. Would I make a guess that the actual donation... Thank you, Akakadak. Well, for the sounds fantastic thing. I have a suspicion that you are about to deny ownership of that donation. So Twitch alerts isn't loading up right now, but would I guess that the donor that I'm going to see on here happens to start with an E? Nope, it starts with an A. All right, Endors. Again, another extremely generous donation. We were actually talking about the idea of building a streaming PC. This is going to be another little bit of money that goes towards that. So again, your money is your own. That represents some time that you have taken to earn that on your own, and I absolutely appreciate you doing that for me. So you definitely don't need to credit Akadak. Akadak is an extremely generous guy who has helped out a lot of people and has actually been here a lot himself, has been one of the most encouraging figures while I was establishing myself as a streamer. So his credentials for being a generous guy are well established. I think it's about time that you start taking some bows for yourself. But again, I think I need to stop tripping over myself whenever I get donations like these. I think one of the best ways I can reward you for these extremely kind donations is to try and give you a good show to watch. So let's watch me get my ass kicked in Hand of Fate. Sleepbringer, when you want to get wrecked in Beyond Sol again. Well, you know what? I have a hypothesis that that game's actually going to be coming to the Mac relatively soon, so I will be more than willing to enter into a coalition of, an axis of evil with you in Beyond Sol, or if you would prefer, I will form the coalition of the willing to destroy your empire. But Sleepbringer is one of the people who was on the Tony Loran cast. We got to play Beyond Sol together. A really interesting game, currently in early access. I'd say, for my own estimation, still a little unpolished, but very interesting game, and one that I'm going to have some fun coming back into. Sleepbringer is another member of Team Panda. I'd strongly recommend that you guys give him a follow. I've seen a really diverse group of games that he's played. So he's done RPGs, which I first saw him playing. He's done fighting games. And last I actually watched him, he was playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Really great guy. Currently a student, I believe a computer science student, if I'm not mistaken. But on top of Miss Aurelia and Kite260, fellow member on this Team Panda group that I'm on, and again, people who I can definitely stand behind in terms of the quality of the streams that they give. These are people who, when I have some free time to be watching on Twitch, if they are casting, they are the first place that I go. And the nice thing is that they are all people who
Take your time if you like. I've waited long enough.
Quiet, dealer. I'm singing the praises of my teammates and donors. The big thing about these guys here is that the nice thing about Team Panda is that we don't enter people in based on the number of follows or views that they have or something like that. The conditions are a little bit more about having a common theme with other members of the team, being able to interact well with an audience, and so that's one of the reasons why I do take the time to promote people like these. These are people who are also hosting me right now, by the way, so that's one big thing that I want to acknowledge. These are people who also help smaller streams such as myself, but one of the really nice things about streams like these is, as opposed to, let's say, a larger stream, which kind of by necessity has to have a fairly rapid pace in terms of the chat, and that's not to say that any of the larger streams don't do audience interaction well. I think if you look at some of the large streamers, they are large streamers because they're good at that interaction. But if you're looking for the personal touch, people like Sleepbringer, people like Miss Ariella, people like Kite260 are all people who will make you feel extremely welcome when you come in there, and it doesn't really matter what game that they're playing. I will also note that they do a better job of incorporating the game into the time that they talk, whereas you'll notice with me, I tend to put the game on pause a little bit, so sorry about that, but these are the good people who I'm hanging out with, so. All right, so let me just take a quick look. I got to catch up with chat really quickly. So Akadak is scolding Endors for his good donation. Again, Endors, thank you so much for that. Mostly the reason for no Dota is my lack of skill. Go to hell, CPO William. I already answered Sleepbringer. It's a traitorous Sleepbringer, bringer of treachery. Well, listen, I have my own fair share of treachery. It's just that Sleepbringer took it to the next level by cheating to achieve his victory, and still he couldn't remove my colonies. Akadak encouraging me with streaming PC. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a long-term project, but looking forward to it. Ake Nukem, I remember the situation differently. T. Clark, yep. So humble. I don't know why I keep getting credit for Akadak. Cool Clids come tonight. All right. Good night, Miss Ariella. Thank you very much for hanging out, and again, thank you very much for that kind host. Akadak is assuring that Endors, he's a kind guy and deserves recognition. Sleepbringer doing the Craigasm for Miss Ariella. And It's just fun at this point. Good luck on my new computer endeavor. Yeah, again, don't expect, like, the stream is kind of in its current format for a very long time, but I think one of the best things that I can do with these very generous donations that you're giving, if I think there's if I'm on the margin about a game that I think will be really good to put on the stream, I'll definitely dip into the funds for something like that. But I have a goal now in terms of what I want to do with this money. So it'll be a long-term investment, but I think especially once I get out of school and once I have something a little bit more established in terms of a stream, I think it would be absolutely fantastic to try and invest a little bit of capital and give you guys a really great show. So, blame my PC. Man, you know what? I was still doing okay in combat against you on my crappy... my crappy donated PC. This guy, I troll him and he gets all sappy. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, cheating. What do you call taking one of the major factions? Alright, anyways. You hear muffled movement and you can just make out a humanoid figure in the mist beckoning to you. Approach the figure. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Unknown Arc. Again, I'm a little bad at kind of putting the stream on hold just so I can talk about either what's on my mind or sing the praises of my co-streamers. But these guys have been in the game a little bit longer than me, so I suspect they probably have a bit more experience in terms of not putting the game on hold. But shots fired. Akadak is looking forward towards the Sleepbringer System Shock grudge match, where in reality, System Shock knows that Sleepbringer is perfectly good at games like Beyond Soul, and that the alliance between the two of them would make them unstoppable. I would much rather join him than beat him. Alright, as you approach, you make out the figure of a cloaked man. He suddenly leaps forward as other men spring from behind the trees. The dealer draws 2 monster
Come now,
cards.
hurry up. We don't have forever.
King of Dust and 2 of Dust. Okay, King of Dust is a little complicated to deal with, but I should be able to take care of the ads in fairly short order. I think the big thing here is I need to stop worrying about ending combat quickly and instead focus on ending combat intelligently. There's no reason I should be taking damage from the King of Dust if I'm watching what's going on as I take damage. So the big one for me here is I want to ideally focus on one individual unit because of the healing that the King of Dust does. It's hard because, of course, the the combat situation won't always give me the opportunity, especially if the King of Dust is nearby. But the more pieces I can take off the board, all of a sudden that healing benefit doesn't count for anything, and I'm able to clean up the main boss. I'm also in this case... Oh, damn it. I wasn't paying attention. Also in this case, I'm opting to dodge out of the way rather than do these blocks, just because, again, I'm trying to keep my health in somewhat serviceable condition. Damn it! I got a little greedy on those hits. One of the other things I try and do with the King of Dust is to get the enemies clustered up and then move out of the way of the area of effect spell at the last minute, kind of like this, just so he can inflict friendly fire. Ah! Again, I kind of think the King of Dust attacks a little bit slower than he really does. I've been wasting a lot of health, just getting greedy. Alright, so now I run like a scared little child. Yeah, that's another one. I can only get 2 hits before he strikes back. I hope that doesn't mean he healed himself. There we go. Just figured that streaming on a phone would be more efficient than streaming on a Mac. I have an iPhone, dude. Speaking, what's on my mind shows that I'm human. Oh, thank you for saying that, Unknown Arc. The other advantage that I have, too, is that certainly my education gives me something of a unique background. So I like trying to be able to relate some of the things that I've studied to what I understand as far as sort of what I've studied as relates to gaming, because I think it tends to be a very good, let's say, a doorway into exploring some of these ideas. So for instance, some of the grand strategy games that Paradox makes provide some interesting windows in which to explore some of these ideas that I learn, or just my general historical interests. We talked a little bit about probability with Hand of Fate, and again, I don't know what the programmers put into them, but I'm at least going to develop a hypothesis and drive my behavior around that. For instance, I'm using the fact that I know what's at this location to make my decision making, even though in the end I really just have a left or right decision ahead of me. But in the end, that one piece of information is going to inform the way that I behave for the next few turns. So I as always, I appreciate the compliments. My ego certainly is large enough that there's always room for one more, but yes, I'm definitely aware of the fact that the AoE hurts his allies. So maybe I wasn't clear about that. But yeah, having the... I try to cluster up the enemies as much as I can so I can dodge out in the last minute. So, hooray for friendly fire. Just read on the CK2 Reddit that tomorrow's patch will probably screw up Iron Man saves. Will be playable but can no longer get achievements. Just a head up, System Chalk. I don't know if I'm playing Iron Mode. I definitely was Carney, but we're fairly early into the Charlemagne playthrough, and I think what was like the way that we left Friday's playthrough, I think it was obvious that I went from a point where the Empire would be completely dissolved to a point where, like, you know what, we can actually get through these problems. So if I have to reset the playthrough, it'll be a cool opportunity to do maybe a quote-unquote canonical Charlemagne playthrough. But in the end, I've actually got most of the achievements related to a Charlemagne start anyway. But with that in mind, I'd still really like to get like the 767 start to 1453. So I appreciate you letting me know that. That'll give me a chance to update for Friday. And CPO Williams, got to get your trash talk out of the way now since we're working together on Saturday. Well, A. Newcomb is actually the individual I'd like to bring in with that as well, CPO Williams. I think you sent me a message, so I still need to read that, but hopefully we can work out an agreeable time for the three of us. I activated his trap card. My reward is a pain card. Nice boss kill. Have some pain! Yes, so I actually guess I should get on with the game now. You're surprised by a huge snake that attacks you as you search the bodies. Dealer draws 1 health pain card that does 35 damage! Lose 10 health.
Huh.
The dank, misty forest that surrounds you is eerily quiet as you struggle through the fetid waters. Attempt to find your way out of the swamp. So I've got success, huge success, failure, huge failure. Talking about CK2, I am indeed. I didn't even pay attention to where the cards were going, so rather than take chat's word for it as much as I would like to, I'm going to show off my fancy statistical package. And this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do this the way economists do it. Or maybe we won't do this the way the economists do it. Come on! Oh, Really doesn't want me to get out of the... Yeah, here we go. Here we go. So I was talking about the tools that you use for to do statistics. Here's one. This is R. So... Oh god, how does it even work? Card number 1. This is exactly what the designers of the software intended. Audio for doing that, so I'm never going to... Hopefully this improves the audio for everybody, although I notice I don't get desktop audio anymore. What happened to the game? There we go. Charlemagne's advisor, Alcuin of York, is one of your favorite historical figures. I have no idea who that is, but indoors I'm going to have to do a Wikipedia search now. Alright, cool, can't wait. It was inspired by my playthrough to try a Saxony game over the weekend. Alright, I'm going to have to try that. Far right? Okay, Unknown Arc was probably right. Staticky Mike, thanks, Eka. Hopefully that's fixed back. Welcome back, speaker. Called it. Was that Chalk's number generated? That's R, the statistical programming language. Find yourself closer to finding a way out, but at least I get 6 health for it. So yeah, as long as my mic is working again, I am never using R to to solve the problem again. The dank, misty forest that surrounds you is eerily quiet as you struggle through the fetid waters. Attempt to find your way out of the swamp. Alright, success, huge success, failure, huge failure. I have no idea where the card is. Let's try number 2. Well, success. It's a good one, Sleepbringer. So I know when I was learning I know UBC does things a little bit differently, but we do our introductory programming class using a language called Racket, which is derived from Scheme. Scheme actually has its origins back as far as Lisp. So one of the inspirations for the R programming language is Scheme. So it's actually a fairly simplified language as far as programming is concerned. Although it is also a little bit of a niche one. A lot of people tend not to know Scheme. But if you are interested in learning it, there's a very simplified version of Racket/Scheme on a Coursera course. It's, again, UBC is the school that I go to, but I think it's called like Introduction to Systematic Program Design or something like that. I've never run the online version of the course, but I have TA'd the live version of the course, and the content is more or less the same. We in fact use the Coursera. What we've done now is we've moved the lectures to the Coursera content, so people watch the lectures on their own time, and then in class they do practical work. And then usually what I would wind up doing is running the labs and sort of taking them through a little bit more of an elaborate example. So the Coursera course is going to be missing those experiences of doing things like building a Sudoku puzzle solver, or maybe making a Pac-Man game or something like that. But in the end, I figured that anybody who's interested enough in programming is probably going to want to create their own programs anyway. They're going to be motivated enough to do those examples. So the labs are a little bit more just, you know, we give grades and we have a way of maybe enforcing compliance, where a massively online open course, or a MOOC, is going to give you, I mean, in the end, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Scheme? Yeah, Scheme is it's a programming language derived from Lisp. If you're specifically interested in the history of it, basically after Lisp there were two diversions. One was, I believe, Common Lisp. The other was Scheme. Each side sort of had their own reasons for sort of.
For those that call this swamp home, each tree is a landmark. For you, not so much.
Obviously, programmers are going to have some very strong opinions in terms of what they are trying to accomplish with those programming languages and why they think it's the best one. If you are actually really interested in doing sort of a Lisp descendant, a very good argument would be made for the Clojure language, which is sort of Lisp and all of the advantages of Lisp sort of grafted onto the Java system. So the advantage here is that, you know, Java has a very large number of libraries that you can take advantage of. I suspect that's probably one of the reasons why it's why they made Android so compatible. Well, I don't really know what the proper term would be, but obviously, you know, if you want to make an Android app, you learn Java. So Clojure has the advantage of, you know, the Lisp way of thinking, but if you want, you can use all of that work.
For eons, I have waited for an appropriate player. It seems there are more eons ahead.
You can use all of the, that work that's gone into making Java what it is, while having the advantages of a functional language. So, for those of you who like programming stuff, you become lost in the swamp. In all directions you see nothing but murky water, twisted trees and mist. The smell is appalling. You hear muffled movement and can just make out a humanoid figure in the mist beckoning to you. Approach the figure. You splash through the murky water towards the shape. As you draw near, you realize it's just a tree. A torn old banner is stuck on one branch, waving in the cold wind. The dank, misty forest that surrounds you is eerily quiet as you struggle through the fetid waters. Attempt to find your way out of the swamp. Failure! You wander through the mist for a day. Well, at least I get some health. But find yourself no closer to finding a way out. CPO Williams understands C++, unknown arc. You slightly knew about what I was talking about. Well, you know, and I suspect anybody who's done formal programming lessons probably knows more than me. I mean, I will give myself some credit as a TA, but in the end, I was merely a tourist in the computer science departments. I use R for my statistics work. I do my best to understand that language as well as I can. But it's important to remember I didn't even minor in computer science. I was invited to help teach the beginning programming class, and then eventually I was invited to do the intermediate and the theory courses. But these are more so just because of the grades that I got in what were very basic courses. I've done a course on algorithms. I've done, on data structures and things like that. But I don't know something like an assembly language. I don't know things like, even as far as my data oh my god, huge failure. Let's see what happens. The creatures of the swamp discover you as you continue to search your way out of the mist. Draw 2 monster cards.
The tenacity to
Queen of
rise
Skulls
from
and the
grave
Four of
after
Skulls.
Death makes for foes that will not rest easy after defeat.
I know more than you. Okay, fair enough. Our program's on the front page of Coursera. It's probably actually... Just keep in mind, R is nothing related to what I was teaching at UBC. But R is pretty good if you want to do any good statistics work. I suspect that's probably the Johns Hopkins class that you're looking at, which is, in my opinion, it's all right. I definitely had some expectations in terms of what I wanted from that class, and I needed to wait until a couple of the more advanced ones. But the big one is that data science has become very sexy, so I think in the end they're creating courses that appeal to the kinds of people who want to want to find out what this this supposedly employable skill is about. And I need to be careful not to be too much of an elitist about these things. Like, I think it's, let's assume the worst and say that everybody who wants to get into data science is just kind of trying to figure out a way to take some money from Facebook. I think, you know, even if people are just tourists into something that I would consider to be, you know, fairly core to my academic interests, the fact that a side effect of this would be a greater statistical literacy, I think, is actually a really valuable outcome. And this is just because, think of the last time that, you know, somebody's quoted some figures to you, and you've just kind of had to take their word for it. You know, there's that old saying that there's lies, damn lies, in statistics, and that old saw is, I mean, it's there for a reason. People definitely abuse a little bit of statistical knowledge quite frequently. I can't really look at chat right now, but I have a suspicion that A. Newcomb is probably responding to my idea of elitism. Oh right, this thing spawns skeletons, doesn't it? Gets styled upon. Bony throne. Okay, maybe not quite yet. Let's kill the rifleman first. Damn it! He's on a fairly good run too. There we go. Okay, don't know how he rose. Slightly irritated about that. Who keeps raising these things? You're in big trouble now. There we go. Nice dodging while talking about data science. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to mention. So yeah, CPO, well, I'd actually argue that C++ to me is a little bit more useful, because I think what's happened is that C++ is kind of the most common thing people will want if they want to talk about kind of accessing the lower levels of the computer. Like in the end, I know some people get upset when you say this, but you know, you can consider C++ to be sort of a superset of C, which people sort of will always consider as sort of the lowest that you generally get, unless you want to get into a very specialized language. I think the real loser out of all of this would be Java if Android didn't sort of take that as its base level. And in reality, I think if Android didn't exist, most of the people who were using Java, which was, I think, what did Gosling wrote his white paper, and I think he said it's like C++ without like the knives, axes, and shotguns or something like that. But I suspect most of the people who took Java for the ease of use would probably have moved on to Python by now. But obviously, you know, mobile is a huge sector now, and so people will benefit from knowing some Java, if only just so they can do some Android work. So no need to be modest. I was gonna say, some people all the skeletons raised once at this level? That sucks. All right. It's like I don't really understand what I'm saying, but it's so interesting. Man, you'd love the paradox casts. System Rock's words fall under damned lies because his voice is so appealing that you always believe him. Okay, maybe I should stand for office then. And skeletons have a % chance to res. The Jack of Bones will always res his comrades, though. Alright, thanks, Carney. So I can rely on A. Newcomb and Carney to correct... Oh my god, okay. Maybe I should get chat... Yeah, chat, give me a 1 through 4. This is a democracy, so 51% decides my fate. I'm gonna wait for 30 seconds past the first comment that I see. Alright, System Shock and Chat, gotta turn in for the night. Have a wonderful night. Akadak, thank you very much for hanging out in the chat. As always, it's great to hang out with you. I'm gonna probably creep in on some of your Dota 2 games so we can talk about strategy.
Take your time if you like. I've waited long enough.
But again, it's always great to see you in here. Have fun in Seattle if I don't see you before then, but I sincerely hope and expect that I will probably chat to you before then. Vote for you, but is freedom really a thing in Canada? No. It's north of the wall. Alright, 3, 2, 1, 4, 2. Akakadax washes his hands of card picking. Thank you, Pontius Pilate. Carney says 1, I don't know. Neither do I, that's why I'm going to everybody. Endor's freedom is granted by the god Beaver, and is a moose his arbiter, the pleasure is all. Ah yeah, thanks, Akakadax. Alright, so I think 2 win... No, we've got a tie between 1 and 2. Don't creep on your Dota games, they're atrocious. Dude, you haven't seen the like, I had one amazing Witch Doctor game that I played, and like, the game after that was just a complete disaster. So. Alright, so it's a coin flip between 1 and 2, it looks like. Do you want to be the tiebreaker act? Nah, he's already washed his hands, so where's the... I got a coin here somewhere. I don't need to bring out the random number generator to do a 50-50. I've got a coin probably somewhere. Maybe I can just use a bottle cap. Apparently I've embraced raging alcoholism over the summer. Alright, we are going for 2. Success! Screw you, number ones! That was a failure. Good work, A. Newcomb, CPO Williams. Endor, well, actually, I think one of you suggested huge success, but I don't remember. Endors and Carney, I'm watching you. And Unknown Arc. Thank you for 2. You find your way out of the swamp after only a day of wandering. I'm almost at half health. Akadak. Go with card 69. Complete with color kappa. Color face, no space.
The Count enters the picture.
Stranger in the Shadows, new card.
Win this and claim my token.
On a dark, moonless night, down a lonely road, you encounter a hooded stranger. Greetings, friend. I am in need of some sustenance. Would you be willing to offer me some of your vigor in exchange for gold, he asks, taking out a bag of coins. So this is tough because I'm at 50 health now, but I also have a store next door, so I will accept. The stranger moves in with unnatural speed to grasp you firmly and bite at your throat. After a few seconds, he releases you. Thank you, he says, handing over some gold as you regain your composure. So I'm at 40 out of 100 health. I am not yet sated. Would you like to earn more gold? Yes. The stranger moves in with unnatural speed. You grasp you firmly and bite at your throat. After a few seconds, he releases you. Thank you, he says, handing you some gold as you regain your composure. Mortal, you seem unusually willing to give up your blood for material gain. The stranger goes on to tell you of a tale of secret blood auctions and where they may be found. This card's token is now yours. Oh, did we have a three-way tie? Capitalism is its best, right, Chalk? Indeed. In a free market, we will have people stealing blood from each other so that they can make ends meet, and it'll be beautiful. All right, call for the priest. In a shady grove off the beaten trail, you find a traveling merchant looking to trade with wandering adventurers. Priests have some skill in tending wounds, but they excel at removing curses, for a price, of course. Approach the shop. Greetings, wise traveler. I have much to offer you. Seems like System Shock is going to become a vampire. No, but I'll gladly be the vampire's blood bank. I will I will charge $2.50 per 1 million liters of blood they extract from me. All right. So I suspect I probably can't afford any of the blessings. So what I want to take a look at now is to see, so I can get 10 health for 8, so basically I wind up being 2 gold ahead of the game for letting the vampire suck me off. Or I can come out 5 health ahead, so they basically take 10 health away from me. I can gain 15 health by buying the health potion for 10. So in that case, it's an absolute gain on my part. What I kind of want to do, though, is see how expensive food is. 18 for 5 food is really pricey. Have a good night, Sleepbringer. Thanks a lot for hanging out tonight, and I look forward to the next time we get a chance to either talk in your chat or possibly stream together. All right.
The pendulum can swing both ways.
So at least get myself back up to 50%, and then I'll use the rest of the proceeds to buy food. Oh, I can only buy 1. All right. It's almost not worth it. $8 for 10. Nah, you know what? Yeah, let's just buy it. If nothing else, it'll just take me through that period of time that I don't have enough food. Possibly vanilla on Saturday. I'm still working on that. I tried to creep on Anukum's Steam account to see if I could find out what DLC he had, but it's important to remember that Horse Lords is coming out tomorrow, so I want to see what happens.
And caverns. One cannot hope to find adventure without a little delving now.
But yeah, it's possible we wind up doing vanilla on Saturday. Addleby, you love this game, but not many people play it, though. Yeah, I haven't seen it played that much. I think the only person I really saw playing Hand of Fate... We talked about CPO Williams' stream, of course. But, I think I saw Lethal Frag playing this last. Now, obviously Frag's got a huge audience, but it's a shame, because I actually really like this title. Welcome to the stream, by the way. I don't think I've seen you here before, so really appreciate you stopping by. Don't always play Hand of Fate, but this has been a big thing that we've been doing on Mondays quite a bit, and it's just because it's such a well-done game. It's a great-looking game. It takes a lot of really interesting little features, so, you know, for those of you who like collectible card games, like Hearthstone, so it's got those... That's sort of the main driver but has a couple of nice little roguelike elements. It doesn't incorporate roguelike in such a corny way like so many other titles do. It's just sort of like, okay, this is what the kids are playing nowadays,
Come
so
now,
we're just
hurry
gonna
up. We don't have forever.
we're gonna add like permadeath or something like that in. I think it comes about it honestly, but then the combat is sort of its own thing, and I think reasonably fun enough. I've noticing it's gotten really hard on the last levels, but overall, an exceptionally well-crafted game, and very much fits in this theme of sort of sharing games that I think worthy of the attention. So I hope you enjoy your time here as long as you stay. Did I see the giant spider on the left? That was there for a moment. This game is creepy. That'll be. Thank you very much for that follow. No idea why the sound didn't play. Oh,
I would
there it
never
is.
want to belong to any club that would have someone like me for a member.
Yes, the spider does occasionally crawl on the screen indoors. Carney Vanilla CK2. So on Friday nights, I play Crusader Kings 2. I'm actually working out a private game. Unfortunately, I won't be streaming it with CPO Williams and hopefully A Nukem if we can work out the time together. But one of the drawbacks of the game is that you all need to have the same DLC. So I have all of the DLC for the game. CPO has some of it, and we're trying to work out what the DLC A Nukem has. You kind of need to go for the lowest common denominator. Although with that in mind, when I start making some educational content for Crusader Kings 2, I'll actually be starting with the base game, and then what I'll probably do is organize it sort of by DLC, just so people like. So it's a way of kind of dealing with the idea of obsolescence. If you sort of deal with the changes that were introduced for the game with each subsequent DLC and patch, that sort of seems to be a way that you can give people principles without becoming too fragile to the changes that Paradox introduces. As far as when those videos will be up, I have no idea, because I have trouble enough keeping to a streaming schedule as it is. How I bailed on... How did I bail on... Oh, yeah, bailed on your stream. Not going to stream... I wasn't planning on streaming it, no, because the drawback is that... A Nukem, I would not recommend buying any DLC until we work that out. Obviously, like, if you're not going to get... If you are only playing that game for that one... session, obviously it doesn't make sense to buy the DLC, but... I was going to work that out after we did any kind of scheduling, but I have a plan for that, so don't worry about it. But yeah, Anders, I'm sorry I'm not going to stream it, but my experience with multiplayer games has been that if...
Once, many came to play the game. Now, it's so few. The bored, the obsessed, the weak. Some come here merely to fill their mind with anything else but their problems, with any other issue than the thing on their mind today. Is that what you're doing now?
Nah, I'm bringing my own issues to the table there, card dealer. But yeah, my experience of multiplayer games has often been that if I stream at the same time, the game winds up taking there's major lag problems, especially if I'm the host, and the stream tends to drop a lot of frames. So as much as I'd love to do that until I get a better internet connection, it's generally not feasible. If somebody else wanted to host it and then I can just come in on TeamSpeak, I'm okay doing that. But it seems to me like trying to stream a game of Crusader Kings 2, which does actually have a real-time component, and I believe the game can actually get out of sync. It just seems like a way to just make everybody frustrated. So, while exploring a dungeon, you see a treasure chest at the end of a hall. The chest may hold great wealth, but the chamber may be trapped. Approach the treasure chest. I always wind up failing this.
A choice. Select your desire.
Oh! You move forward carefully, but hear a sudden click. The room begins to fill with deadly gas. Attempt to escape the gas. 50-50 chance. That's the first time I failed the gas. As you make your way through the clouds, coughing out some dangerous gas once... Oh, sorry. You make your way through the clouds, coughing out some dangerous gas once you make it to the other side. The dealer draws you 1 pain card. Lose 5 max health. I got my Asmar. CPO Williams is God with any version, eh? I'm specifically going to play an Islamic Caliphate so I can bring you to your knees. Twisted Canyon. Well, because RNG has been so good to me so far. You see a weapon glinting in the sunlight lying next to a skeleton at the bottom of the canyon. I mean, at this point here, at 90 out of 95 health, a little food, and having not gotten any items yet, at this point, I don't care if I'm trading health for items. I'm going to need them to beat the boss here. So climb down to retrieve the weapon. Of course I fail. You begin to make your way down the cliff face, but soon slip and fall painfully onto the rocks below. The dealer draws you 2 health pain cards. Lose 15 health. Lose 15 health. 60 out of 95. Draw 1 weapon card. Thunderstrike. Equipping this trait crackles with the thunder of the gods. Even mages tremble at its sight, fearing a power beyond their ken. Damage 35. Every strike inflicts lightning damage. Press 1 for lightning to strike around you. Compared to Axe 25. During combat, press the left mouse button to swing your axe. Of course, I'm equipping Thunderstrike.
Really? Is that what you're going to do?
I've got Mjolnir! If you play Zoroastrian and unite Persia, you can play as God. Traveling Jeweler. In a shady grove off the beaten trail, you find a traveling merchant looking to trade with wandering adventurers. I'm gonna try selling my axe so I can buy some food. Hey Nukem, you haven't seen suffering until you come to this chat. Alright, is there anything else I can sell? You know, the funny thing here about the Merchant's Ring, like, it's just been useful for me to make some decisions in terms of where I'm going all around. I think the medium armor is probably what's screwing me as far as the things like the treasure chest are concerned. But let's sell the axe. It's only 4 gold, but maybe we can get some food. 1 food for 4, but it's better than nothing.
Our hero needs sustenance badly.
So, I mean, the real question here is if... I think it would be most likely that the exit's probably at one of these ends here. I'm still going to do my normal pattern because there's this weird paradox here, right? Which is I kind of want to finish these levels as quickly as I can, but I also want to explore them in hopes of finding food, or at least gold that I can buy food with. It's so, like, maybe it's not a paradox so much as a conundrum, or I don't know. There's a writer in the chat, he can tell me exactly what the better term is. But basically the trouble that I'm running into is that at 4 food, realistically, I'm probably not going to be able to get to the end of this, like this whole dungeon to the Queen of Dragons without some kind of a new source of food, or I'm just going to wind up losing a lot of health for it. So at this point here, I'm just going to try and maximize the number of tiles that I visit, because that's going to increase my chances of finding food. I could wind up wasting a whole lot of it, but I effectively guarantee starvation if I just try and make a beeline for the exit. Devil's choice.
In truth, though, all choices are the devil's choice. Even the choice to do nothing.
A cloaked devil appears in your path. I'm here to test your strength, so-called hero. Choose your foe. So I can go for the 4 of Skulls, 1 Lava Golem, or the Jack of Scales. Jack of Scales is tempting because it's related to the opponent that I'm after, but I actually want to do more of these Lava Golems because they're kind of tough. Oh my god, and they've got... Wait, what? Since that is whom you wish to fight, I think today I shall make you fight the others instead, just for fun. I hate this game. Alright, limber up. Damn it. Got clipped by the weapon. Run away! At this point, I basically have to rely on friendly fire. Jesus Christ. I managed to kill the Jack of Scales, but it's the skeleton that gets the hit on me. Jokes on shot control, lol. Hate it when that's the first time that's ever happened to me in this game. Demon's gonna dem. He's looking forward to South France, North Italy, and Northern Spain. Alright. Excellent, the devil cries. You've passed my cunning test. Have some treasure. Perhaps next time our paths cross, I will kill you myself. Dealer draws you 3 game cards. Equipment, always welcome. Huge...
Reliable rears his ugly head again.
Huge hammer. Very tempting, but no. 15 gold. 20 gold. Okay, so I've got 3 food, so unless one of these is a swamp, I can afford to sort of go around. Embertown Hero. Well, this is good because this is actually going to reveal where the exit is, because I only have 2 options. One of these cards is going to get replaced with Embertown, so this is actually ideal. You come across an injured adventurer whose battered and bloodied armor tells you that he's seen combat recently. Ask him his troubles. I've been chasing a pack of thieves that attacked my home village of Embertown. I killed some of them in an ambush, but I fear I lack the strength to chase the rest down. If you have any honor, you will find those jackals and make them pay. Oh no, it replaced the merchant. Ugh. Seems like everyone gets Chalk's new sale on Mace to the Face. Superior Blaze has had that happen almost every time. Did you insult a gypsy woman on your way to work one day? Alright, Ratman hunting. Stumble upon Ratman on a Ratman hunting party. Prepare to defend yourself. Your dealer draws you 1 monster card. Did such a good job of dodging the Ratman last time. Who wants to hear about Arrow's impossibility theorem while I jump around like a fool? The Ratmen are particularly awful because of their poison. So naturally we're going to begin with the Wrath of Zeus. Oh, come on! Oh god, I'm gonna get screwed. Okay, I gotta stay away from that that side of the map. Wait, I have an option to get rid of the Ratman cards? Well, at least I got the food gain out of that, right? I'm still gonna wind up spending the money, but at least in this case, I think I deal with dust villains. You've caught up with the Embertown Village Raiders, who call you out, "Stay your hand, adventurer, and we'll share the spoils with you." Refuse to deal with the thieving scum. Like Sleepbringer. You tell them to ask their gods for mercy because, you tell them to ask their gods for more mercy than you are about to show them. The dealer draws you 1 monster card. 3 of dust. They move in for the kill. Definitely liking the lightning mace, except I'm really bad at using the special abilities on these things. Easy game, easy life. You carefully turn out the thieves' pockets. The dealer draws you 3 gain cards. Draw 2, select
sure
1
you're
to keep.
grateful for that.
So I get Scorching Zeal or the Ring of Survival. Let's see what the Ring of Survival is. After every 3rd combat, player receives plus 20 health. Thank you for that. 10 food. Nice. So I don't really need to buy that anymore. 3 food. Okay, so I can use my gold for like cool things. Except that would... Actually, so... Do I want to do that?
A horse is a fine companion.
You found a
I'm
friend...
sure you'll leave this one in time. You do not seem to have the temperament for friends, even in the animal kingdom.
You found a friendly trader willing to let you hitch a ride on his wagon. So I think I'll skip the merchant for now. It's a little risky, but... Alright, so this is actually not a bad layout. So again, similar idea here. We've got... I have no choices for the first 2 movements ahead. Again, this is actually one thing I kind of like about this, which is similar to Darkest Dungeon, which is you get a nice overview in terms of where you're going, but unlike the Darkest Dungeon, it's kind of like, I guess it would almost be like if when your torch was really low in Darkest Dungeon, you weren't actually able to see where each corridor went. That would actually kind of be a neat mechanic for them to add in. But there's a couple different ways that you can go about this map. One thing that you could try and do is a spiral, at which point you're sort of automatically wasting 1 turn to move to the center. Or potentially you're skipping one of these others. Now, again, the drawback about doing the outside is it's very unlikely that the exit's going to fall in the center, so probably you're going to wind up retracing your steps anyway, but it's not a bad pattern to do.
It has been called the game of eternity that we play. I didn't think that meant you'd take forever to make a decision, mind.
You could go sort of just in a straight line forward, and then, you know, again, you can try some of these weird patterns here, but in the end, you're just going to wind up repeating. So I think probably what I'll wind up doing, if I don't get any other information moving forward, I'll move to the shop, I'll do a spiral around, because again, it's not that bad for me to visit a shop again with 35 gold in my pocket and potentially more. I'm going to have more information about where I'm sitting on this particular level when I return to that shop, and then I can adjust my purchases accordingly. Chalk, new game coming out that I need to check out called Guild of Dungeoneering. I saw a
This is where it ends, or at least this is where the conclusion begins. As much as any game can truly end.
I saw Pyrian
Your final challenge awaits you now.
Saw Pyrian Flax playing it, and I think Alaskan Savage is playing it as well. I believe it's a pre-order right now. I think the people who have it are given sample copies, right? But definitely looks really interesting, that's for sure. A nobleman approaches you on a chariot. As you walk the streets of Stygal, he notices you and comes to a stop. Greetings, mercenary. I'm a collector of rare weapons, and yours intrigues me. Would you part with it for gold? Well, seeing as I'm on the last level, no. Disappointing, but my own fault, I suppose, for expecting to find a business-savvy peasant. He rides away. Yeah, the card dealer's sass is pretty good. In a shady grove off the beaten trail, you find a traveling merchant looking to trade with wandering adventurers. General shops offer a range of items and healing, but at prices a little higher than usual. Approach the shop. Greetings, wise traveler. I have much to offer you. Is it out now? I'll have to double check. I know you can pay for it, but I believe if you buy it, you're going to be waiting on that download. Alright, I'll just take a look at the items. I'm probably not going to wind up buying anything. Especially because I can't afford it. So, Mithril. I mean, Explorer's Helmet is tempting, but not really useful right now. Assassin's Greed, with these equipped, every successful combat grants the player some gold. Again, we're in the endgame. And as much as I like consuming shame, I can't afford it. Sell items. Can sell the huge hammer. Guess I don't really need to sell the huge hammer though, so what's it gonna cost me to heal my wounds? I think we'll just go with good old-fashioned healing. So for a difference of 2 gold, I can max out my health, or... Well, you know what, I'll just do the 10 because I'm gonna heal walking as well. And not really a point in buying food, so... T. Clark's been watching quite a bit of Guild of Dungeoneering on the channel for a guy you mod for. He's digging the hell out of it. Last you looked, he had like 25 viewers. I think 25 viewers is actually where you get transcoding options as well. Heroes Remains. I am... you pass a funeral. It's obvious from the size of the procession that the deceased was a well-loved figure. You are approached by the cleric. This great hero fell defending our beloved town of Wandermere. His sword and shield are powerful artifacts, but must be returned to his hometown for the proper burial rites to be completed. Will you do this, traveler? So I think when you do this, you get a curse which takes 5 turns to go away. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm looking... I don't care about returning this stuff, to be completely honest. The shield is a minor benefit to me, I believe. Which means for a minor benefit, I have the possibility of a catastrophe before I engage the enemy. I mean, 2 out of 7 isn't really that bad, but... Why would I throw away a... I mean, my items aren't that great, but it's not... It's not an unwinnable run with these items. I've definitely gotten a lot better at the combat than the beginning, so I think I'm going to make an excuse in this case. Oh, he killed 25 viewers! Sorry, I should have been reading that a little bit more important. You got to talk to a dev in Savage's channel earlier. That's cool, CPO Williams. Did they have anything interesting to say? Sigh, of course, being an adventurer means you must wash your hair regularly, all those blood and guts. Lich! The Lich is an undead able to hurl deadly balls of magic. Oh man, this guy screwed me last time. She can also consume other enemies in order to restore her health. Liches are known in legend as the greatest of the undead. Only the most powerful or most foolhardy of wizards attempt to summon one, and only the most unlucky actually succeed.
A challenge for you, and a token if you succeed.
In the ruins of an old temple, you feel the presence of something evil and unnatural. You've discovered the Lich, a powerful undead monster. Yeah, let's attack them. This is going to completely throw away the run, but I figure for 95 health... This is probably the best chance I'm going to get to take out a Lich, so let's... You only YOLO once. So I think the thing about Liches are they leave sort of these pools that damage you. Oh, damn it. I tried to trigger my my lightning. Man, they hit like a truck. I'm also kind of happy this tomb isn't booby-trapped like they usually are. Where's the Lich? I refuse to believe that. Oh wait, maybe I did kill her because of the lightning. This weapon's kinda cool. In games like that, he names characters after viewer. Yeah, so I should do that for Darkest Dungeon again. This is an epic fight. Go Chalk Go. Thank you for the vote of support, Anukum. I thought after all the sarcasm you get in Facebook, you'd be rooting for my failure. GLHF. Yay, we did it, chat. You search the remains for loot. The dealer draws you 2 gain cards. This card's token is now yours. Man, 61 health though. I'm definitely not good at blocking the Lich, and the game makes you pay when you don't. Draw 3, keep 1. Fleet Cuff. Oh man, Fleet Cuffs are really good, but so is Consuming Shame. All weapon attacks are enhanced with powerful poison that taints the victim's mind and body. But you know what? I should go for Fleet Cuffs. Mobility is a huge part, especially you see how many times I dodge around. Mercenary Contract doesn't count for anything, and when you think about it, the lightning damage that I'm doing already kind of gives me this damage over time, so I think the Fleet Cuffs are actually the better option for me.
You've earned this. Where, adventurer? Darkness is loosed upon the lands.
CPO was rooting for the Lich. Okay, so you know... Oh, achievement unlocked. Isn't that nice? What I think we need to do is we just say screw the basic version of Crusader Kings and we'll do Game of Thrones mod, and I'll specifically program a Lich for me to play as so that I can show you exactly what that fight is like, CPO Williams. Golem Hunting Party. Defeat this challenge 3 times in one session to remove it from your deck. Well, something tells me that I'm not going to run into that 3 times. On a moonlit night, you see a group of golems on their way to attack another human settlement. The dealer draws you 1 monster card. Lava Golem. Your path leads toward them, but they have not spotted you. Will you attack or try to go around them? Well, I'm feeling particularly cocksure after that Lich fight, so 75% chance of success. Let's just go for card number 1. Yay! You charge into battle. The first time I ran into a lava golem, there was a curse that I had that basically made them unblockable, and basically unblockable and extra strong if there was only one creature left. So I thought these guys were a lot more powerful than they actually are based on that first encounter. Yes, I play cowardly. Run, you fool! Fleet Cuffs for the win. Man. CPO Williams, what are the results of the survey? I have not closed the survey yet, so I won't discuss them, but I will say that there were very few surprises for me. But I will definitely, there's interest. You're not the first one to ask about the survey, so I will definitely share the results with the stream when I've closed it down. I definitely wanted to keep it open for a couple. Actually, you know what? Let me. No, you know what? It'll take too long to load up Twitter. At the end of the cast, I will post that link for anybody who hasn't done the survey yet. Alternatively, you can go to my Twitter account, and there should be a link to the Survey Monkey. It's just a question in terms of the Friday night format, getting an idea in terms of what are the Paradox, what Paradox titles people are interested in watching. Currently, I'm operating on the hypothesis that Crusader Kings is the most popular of the Paradox titles. Which is why I would do, well, for this stream, which is why I would dedicate them to Fridays. But if people want to see some variety, such as doing a regular EU4 stream or something like that, I'm certainly not married.
For eons I have waited for an appropriate player. It seems there are more eons ahead.
Certainly not married to the idea, so I can definitely reconsider it. So this survey is a chance for you guys to have a little bit of input in terms of the format of the stream. Well, in defense of the lava golem, I definitely took a lot more damage than I was supposed to with that. So these loose pile of rocks and stones around you are a good start at teaching these creatures a lesson. Some local villagers give you food with thanks. So I'm really curious about this marker. I'm gonna guess it's another lava golem. Oh no, just metal ore. As you traverse a particularly tricky trail across a mountain ridge, you notice a dark ravine beneath you. Something glitters in the dim sunlight that reaches down at the base of the cavern. Climb down and take a look. In the gloom of the narrow canyon, you find the old remains of a wooden cart, having fallen down years ago. You find nothing of worth except a chunk of glittering metallic ore. R.I.P. Lava Golem, his greatest dream was having a pet rock. May not sell for much in its current state, but perhaps you can find someone who can use it. You take it and make your way back up the path. So I have a couple of decisions that I can make right now, which would be to do one over to the side and then back to the shop so I can heal up. Alternatively, I can take my chances over 3 cards, get to the shop, heal up, and then of course we know that it's the final fight here. Now, the fact of the matter is that I'm taking a 1 in 4 chance that I run into the final boss here, and I'm taking a 3 in 4 chance that I run into the boss before I get to the shop. So in this case here, because I'm at near half health, I'm going to do a bit of an inefficient run, but of course I've got 20 food right now, so I can afford, basically at the end of each encounter, I can basically afford to go back, heal up, and then move back down. Holy Forge. Okay, so this works fantastic for me. On a dusty, lonely plain, you come across the shattered remains of an old monastery. Searching the building, you meet an old man dressed in dirty robes. Long ago, we of the Brotherhood forged holy weapons to support the war against the infidels, but the infidels were strong, and one day one of their raiding parties took us by surprise. They destroyed most of our tools and took our supplies, including all of the rare metal that we once used to craft our weapons. The king's army never returned after that day. I know not what became of them in the years that followed. I have stayed here all these years, but only the ghosts remain to keep me company. All of the others who survived the attack left long ago. Give the monk a sample of your ore. The monk's eyes widen with surprise as he exclaims, "By the old gods, where did you find that?" He looks over the metal carefully. If you're willing to put in the hard work, stranger, together we could fire up the old forge one last time. You spend several days with the old monk. By day you toil together at the forge, and by night you swap tales of your adventures and share of his food. Eventually you hold the completed weapon in your hands. Battle Hammer. Damage 40, striking together consecutive attacks. String together consecutive attacks to do massive damage. Press 1 to unleash a powerful explosion. Very tempting weapon to use, but chat really likes Thunder Strike, and I really like... If you can get a well-timed lightning strike, that's pretty rewarding, so I will not equip the Battle Hammer. Thank you, warrior, for giving this old relic one last chance to prove its worth. Good luck on your journey. So, right call to go through the middle, and then we can approach the shop to heal up a little bit. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? I worked hard selling my blood. I came up from nothing. You know what? I probably should have took a look at... Well, first of all, let's do some selling. I definitely don't need more than one hammer, so... Huge hammer goes away. I can't remember what items they were selling here. No, don't leave the shop. I can also afford to sell the merchant's ring, because there are no more merchants to reveal. So what have we got as far as items are concerned? Can't afford anything. Oh, Skeleton Shield King is kind of cool. 29 gold, so I could probably sell my existing shield. Let me just double check the effect that it has. Shield Bash can kill regular skeletons and stun other targets. Yes, please. I think giving everyone a mace to the face is better. I'm the guy you mod for has to start a new game on Guild of Dungeoneering because his graveyard bugged out and he couldn't access it. I guess the game couldn't keep up with all the corpses he left in his wake. It was like, nope, I'm done. Close the cemetery. Is that how cemeteries work? People stop dying if you run out of space? Started from the bottom and now we're here. System Chalk, your hero is a whore selling himself. How do you feel? I feel great. I feel like I am a productive member of society, providing a necessary service that others are currently unwilling to give. It's the free market. So, selling the shield so I can buy a better one. Now watch, I'm gonna run into goblins.
Steal the wealth of the dead. Hardly a noble approach.
This thing is equipped, right? Yeah. Man, we're almost looking like a real hero now. Hey, another golem hunting party. On a moonlight night, you see a group of golems on their way to attack another human settlement. The dealer draws you one monster card. Oh yeah, I guess the way that it works is it has to give you 3. So I basically have a 50-50 chance of putting this event to bed. Zach! Mecha Fanboy, how's it going? It's an actual radio cast for you since you're working on documents today. Well, I really appreciate you hanging out nonetheless. I will say I've gotten a little bit quiet during the combat. Probably focusing a little more than I need to, but let's do number 4. But it's always good to have you in chat, whether I am chatting about the stuff I'm studying or whether I'm just making silly noises while I am losing combat. So I kind of made a little bit of a problem for myself because I used all my gold to buy that shield, so I can't be as reckless as I was in the previous encounter. But as long as I don't catch myself on a rock, I should be okay. Whoa! Did not know there was a trap. Okay, there's more than one trap. Oh, you're kidding me? Come on! Like Fanboy's doing well today, just a bit tired, been sort of running around all day. I definitely know that feeling, and I noticed I started the cast. I always start the cast late if I go out, kind of, anytime I leave the apartment in the afternoon, I'm more or less, it feels like I'm more or less assured to start the cast later just because transport is not as reliable. It's a very good transportation system in Vancouver. Unfortunately, I don't feel it is run as efficiently as it should be. This golem's hammer is only a little bigger, poor guy. This is the second surface raid that you've thwarted. You must defeat one more. Some local villagers give you food with thanks. So I'm going to take the long way around, because I'd like to think that this token indicates golem. Okay. Oh! Ladder escape. To continue forwards, you must first descend down a ladder and into the unknown. I'm turning back. I'm almost certain the way that the dealer was talking was that this was the last level. I've been wasting a lot of food, so let's just walk into the ambush so we can kill some stuff. The combat looks significantly less clumsy than the last time you stopped by. I'm sure previous me is a little upset by that, but thank you. Those poor golems, what did they ever do to you, Chalk? Had something I wanted? 3 of mages and 4 of skulls. Easy peasy. I'm a little annoyed, though, that this isn't the last level. Oh god, there's traps. Okay, this might be a little harder than I thought. Let's hope this shield earns its keep. Oh man, I'm gonna have to... The golems have been attacking innocent humans? Honestly, that didn't factor into the calculus at all. Let the traps take care of the enemies? Pfft. I'm putting on a show! They were attacking human settlements, remove golems from the premises, death of golem raiding party, best day of your life. While searching the area for anything worth salvaging, you realize that one of your opponents is only pretending to be dead. Probably one of the skeletons. If you actually saw the way it shuffled, none of the cards changed position. The quick weapon blow to the head fixes that. You finish searching the area. The dealer draws you 3 gain cards. Thank you, Nukem. Inferno...
Fire relates to pure will in our system. In this case, however...
Inferno Potion. During combat, press 2 to activate fire form. Gain 5 food. And 5 gold.
I'm sure you're grateful for that.
Alright, so we're kind of back on track to take on a few more levels. To continue forwards, you must first descend down a ladder and into the unknown. Climb the ladder. You embark upon the next leg of your adventure.
She's out there now, waiting for you.
You said that last time, jackass. CPO Williams is questioning Chalk's Canadianness. He seems more American with his violent tendencies. A. Nukem can attest to his Canadianness and his violent tendencies. I'm going to go right because that has the highest number of cards. It's not too much. I mean, in either of these cases, there's not too much movement in terms of recovering, but the way that you can think about this one, if I take this, higher chance that the queen or the exit is here, just through the number of cards. I do a spiral, which means I only retread on one, then back here, then back here. There's no really good path that doesn't result in multiple retreads. So I lower my chances of waste if I take the right-hand side over the left-hand side. Maze of Traps. You found a goblin treasure cave. Will you enter? I don't really need that much more gear, but I'm greedy. Yeah, thanks for answering that, Nukem. It's the Queen of Scales, the current boss. I don't even remember what the curses are for the Queen of Scales, actually. I'm sure it'll tell me when I begin the combat with her. So I used to be really good at these, and then I started just walking into traps like an idiot, so... Admittedly, the traps did also get slightly more devious, but there we go. As long as I don't step on any rakes, I'm happy. I also like the fact that my weapon sort of lights the way for me now. I'm pretty much terrified of any foliage. Ah. Seriously? Oh, come on! She's nasty. I'm looking forward to Chalk feeding her. I mean, fighting her. Yeah, apparently I'm going to feed the traps before. What an embarrassing run. Healing cap. Hearn's and... Oh, this is the one that damages lizard people.
A tool with a very specific but useful purpose.
I would have...
Much use if you're not facing lizards, though, eh? Sorry. That struck me as funny.
I would have gone for the healing cap, but this is clearly what I need to go for. How trolly should you have to be to get timed out, because you're getting sassier as the night goes on. And yeah, Anukum is absolutely right. Like, the mod symbol means literally nothing. He does not know a single Twitch command. Mecha fan, come on. Don't actually give him power. I might have to give it away. I might have to take it away. Alright, everybody likes this mace, so let's try the Armor of Cold. Nearby enemies are immediately slowed as...
The effect does not extend inside the armor, but you do have to get it on somehow.
So it's a light armor versus the medium that I have right now. I'm just going to take a quick look at the Skeleton King sword to see what that gives me. I'll probably wind up going for the Armor of Cold, though. High tier attacks heal the wielder. Okay. Press 1 to drain health from surrounding enemy. I still kind of feel like keeping the Armor of Cold. Oh, that's what the little clock does.
Are you sure that's the right approach?
I'm not sure that's the right the right approach. After opening the chest, the traps lay dormant and you make your way back to safety. Better you learn it from me or you rather than elsewhere. Oh, at least we can finish off the last golem. Somebody might teach him the more permanent ones. You're really tempted to ban yourself? I don't believe that is possible. On a moonlit night, you see a group of golems on their way to attack another human settlement. Dealer draws you 1 monster card. Path leads toward them, but they have not spotted you. Will you attack or try to go around them? Attack.
Choose from these.
Wasn't paying attention. I'll try number 2. That sword can be great, but you like the hammer better. Yeah. The ban hammer, of course. I can still ban him, though. Dodge! Ah, come on. Man, I'm screwing this up. Yeah, you have to be a tier above, so my suspicion is that Twitch's new global mods can probably ban existing mods. Broadcasters are the only ones who can ban their mods. But I mean, in reality, why would you ban your mod? Like, you just unmod them, and if they're behaving in such a way that you don't want them participating in your channel anymore, then of course you ban them. But there's no point in giving somebody who you feel is not just not contributing to chat, but is actively taking away from the experience, why would you give them the ability to determine, the pace of chat, determine who can chat, what people can read? It just doesn't make any sense. So personally, I think the idea sure, a broadcaster can ban a mod if they want, but I don't see any credible situation in which a streamer would ban a mod without removing the mod status from them. It just doesn't make any sense. Sure, we could work out a deal with the golems. They warm our houses. We don't send chalk after them. Streamer technically doesn't ban a mod. Streamer doing things to mods equals they get unmodded. Oh, okay, that makes sense, Mecha Fanboy. Alright, having dispatched a third group of rock creatures, the regular surface raids against the humans cease. At the next village you visit, the people come out and greet you warmly. The dealer draws you 2 game cards, and the card's token is now yours. Get 10 gold. 40 gold. So hopefully we run into... Well, no, there's no shop because... Oh wait, I sold the merchant ring, didn't I? One of the villagers, a crooked old crone, offers to craft a pair of magical gloves for you. You thank her and leave, wondering if she will ever deliver on that promise. A Nukem has succeeded in not making chat worse going on your CV. That actually probably matters in your line of work, if I recall what Angie's role was originally.
Lost again? I would have thought you'd learned your lesson by now.
Lost in the swamp. You become lost in the swamp. In all directions you see nothing but murky water, twisted trees, and mist. The smell is appalling. Kinda like PAX. You hear muffled movement and can just make out a humanoid figure in the mist beckoning to you. Approach the figure. You splash around in the murky water towards the shape. As you draw near, you realize it's just a tree. A torn old banner is stuck on one branch, waving in the cold wind. The dank, misty forest that surrounds you is eerily quiet as you struggle through the fetid waters. Attempt to find a way out of the swamp. Alright, chat, I'm gonna need your help on this one. I was gonna think 3, but... CV is a Quebec English term that you picked up? Yeah, curriculum vitae, I've heard in academia. I never hear anybody refer to it as their resume. Anyways, Americans, I'm looking for votes. Ours failed me too many times tonight. And chat actually has a curiously effective track record. I've never been to PAX. Everybody wanted me to go this year. It's not really a financial option for me at the moment. Or not financially feasible option, at least. But when I graduate, I do intend to go. 3, 2, 4, 1. Thanks, jackasses.
Take your time if you like.
Leap Paste, how's it going? Leap Paste also wants number 4. I will also point out that Leap Paste is another member of Team Panda. Now, I do actually need to confess that I do not spend nearly as much time in this channel as I should. But as I was talking about, Team Panda is full of a lot of streamers that we spend some time watching, making sure that they have a style that is sort of consistent with what we tend to expect for streams. So please don't take the fact that I have not been inside of his stream that frequently to be any indication of the quality. He is definitely somebody who is worthy of a follow. I don't recall the last thing that you were playing recently, Leap Pace. Feel free to inform the chat if you're so inclined, or give us a little bit of a blurb in terms of why we should watch you, because I know I did a really crappy job in that introduction. But please definitely do consider dropping Leap Pace to follow. As a fellow member of Team Panda, and somebody who's gone through the screening process, I can definitely tell you, well, and having, like, it's not that I have never been into his stream, but definitely having been there, I can tell you that it's a good time. Alright, so we had 2 votes for 4 before, 2 for 2, 2 for 4. Oh, really? Are there 2 for 2? Oh, CPO Williams. Alright. Do I need to flip a coin again? Because I will. I actually flipped my wallet last time, so let me see if I can actually find a coin. Nope, I can't, but what I can find is a book. So if it's an even number that I open to, it will be a... Team Panda is a pretty good record. Yeah, well, I'm actually, CPO Williams, I want to give some special mention to. I'm just going to grab a book. If it's a even number, I will go for 2. If it's an odd number, I will go for 4. $120 is an even number. But yeah, CPO Williams actually... we were talking about Team Panda for a while, and it's somebody, I've been really grateful to have CPO Williams in this chat and to be able to, host a Team Panda member. I often see him, participating in that chat, but it kind of occurred to me over some time that he became really involved with all of the streamers who were, who I was hosting and things like that. So that's not to say that, clearly everybody in chat generally participates in the raids, but it sort of struck me that CPO Williams was becoming quite involved with some of these other streamers. So it's one thing for me to say, I have an incentive to talk up Team Panda because, of course, I am a member of it. So if ever I talk about the rigorous screening process or something like that, in the end, it's a little bit of self-congratulation. But I can also say from people who watch this stream and have been regulars of it, and so presumably share at least something in common as far as tastes, I am noticing that there's enough commonality inside of that group that people who have enjoyed this stream have seen some value in some of the other Team Panda streamers. And the nice thing is that the group is sufficiently diverse that, for the 1 or 2 that maybe you don't enjoy, there's usually going to be somebody else streaming at the same time who will be able to fill that need. So I hope you guys enjoy what you see, and most importantly, I can tell you the support that you guys give me in this chat is what keeps me going. It's why I have a regular schedule, which I sometimes have a little difficulty keeping, but I certainly feel guilty if I even start a little later than I want. So if there's one thing that I could do to help out my co-casters to give such a great audience to them, and then I also hope that is reciprocated to you by providing you guys some entertainment on this site called Twitch. Lee Paste has lately been streaming way too much Counter-Strike. League of Legends tend to take a very casual approach to competitive games and still managing to be successful. That's good. Don't books generally have pages on both sides? Yes, they do, but I am going to look at one number before I look at another one. Alright. The book betrayed me, but 4 was a failure as well, so I hate you, chat. The creatures of the swamp discover you as you continue your search for a way out of the mist. Draw 2 monster cards. It is the 2 of scales and the 3 of dust. So 2 of scales, I get to try out my fancy new hat. I actually quite like this loadout because generally for each type of enemy I have some kind of an answer. That's what you get for breathing fire, you son of a bitch. I'm almost dead. Lee Pace, why are you slumming it with a dirty Dota 2 player? Never mind, you just wanted to be a dick move. Yours wasn't that perfect. We're all evil. Didn't vote. Haven't guessed wrong yet and wanted to quit while you were ahead. Try out, as in see if it protects against lizard teeth, which it doesn't. Dota 2 isn't all bad. No, Dota 2 is the best game ever made. Dota 2 is fun in small doses. Nonsense. Take a look at the number of hours I have in that game. Although the original Dota you think is the best MOBA. That's really interesting, actually, because I believe Dota 2 does a very good job of translating the mechanics from the original, but putting them within their own engine. The only thing that I don't care for that much about Dota 2 is they recently changed the pathing, and I think it's a little weird. The Warcraft 3 pathing was surprisingly good, even for such an old game. You're glad this game included a colorblind mode. You cannot tell the difference between the blockable and the unblockable attacks in normal mode. And once you actively turn it into a grind to get more points, though... Awesome
Come
Knights
now,
is the best.
hurry up.
Actually, T-Color,
We don't have forever.
Awesome Knights is a really, really good game. I should play a little bit more of that on stream. The dank misty forest that surrounds you is eerily quiet as you struggle through the fetid waters. Attempt to find a way out of the swamp. Well, honestly, as long as I spend one turn on this, I'm happy to get some extra health. I'm just gonna go with number 2. Huge success! Chalk, am I allowed to ban MOBA talk, please? Don't you like Awesome Knots, though? You're pleasantly surprised to find out that you were very close to the outskirts without realizing it. That counts as a huge success? Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be a bit of a scumbag, and I'm going to take the long way around to this next destination so I can get a couple of extra points. Oh my god, the Devil's Carnival. I remember losing a weapon here.
Again, a token is at stake.
One day, just as the dusk gathers, you reach a large country town hosting a traveling circus. Strange sights and stranger smells confront you as you begin to wander between the tents and stalls that were once brightly colored but now are faded and stained with dust. Peasants and nobles alike wander the streets and alleys, past wonders and amazements, seeming almost dazed. There's something about this place that dulls your senses, and for a while you forget your quest. Forget even the path that brought you to this place. Oh god. I think it's here. Failure! MOBAs are cool. Is Dota hard to get into? You've only played Smite, and are you opposed to MOBA Anukum? Anukum is definitely not a fan of the Dota. And I suspect probably would not like most MOBAs except Awesome Knots and Heroes of the Storm. Carney, so it's worth keeping in mind, for all the reputation that Dota 2 has for its complexity, Dota 2 is the first MOBA I ever played and still my primary game. So I don't believe it's insurmountable. The learning curve is insurmountable, and I know once they switch the Source 2 engine, they're actually going to be including a lot of tools to help you learn the game, because the existing tutorials are not that effective. But that said, one of the reasons why I enjoyed the experience of learning... so one of the reasons why I was able to continue with Dota 2 was I really enjoyed the experiencing of learning a game that complex. Kind of the same reason I enjoy something like Crusader Kings 2. So I will tell you that if you want to get into a game like Dota 2, it's going to involve a little bit more work in terms of learning not just the mechanics of the game and the details of the heroes, but also the metagame, how other people are playing it. And it's not for a slavish devotion in terms of how other players will participate in the game, but rather just understanding why these conventions have developed over a current patch in terms of how you're going to respond to them. So personally, you know, there have been patches where people will only play one hero because they feel they're particularly unbalanced and overpowered. Now, I don't do that because in the end, just because a hero at the very high level might have a certain balance issue, doesn't mean that I'm going to play them very effectively. But because people tend to very slavishly follow what the professionals are doing in a game, I kind of want to be aware of that so that I can prepare myself. So if Troll Warlord is going to be picked in every single game and I'm going up against them, I want to be thinking about what is the best reply to that particular option, because the likelihood of that hero being picked is just that much higher. So, all right, now I got to catch up on chat here. So. Only problem with MOBA talk is X game being better than Y game, and that can get out of hand very quickly. Yeah, I mean, people will play what they enjoy. I have a League of Legends account. I've played like 3 games of it, though. I am a mod in Ponce's channel, so, you know, I enjoy watching League of Legends, and I think I've become a slightly better Dota 2 player having watched Ponce play League of Legends. And then, you know, sometimes you like to go to Disneyland, so I play Heroes of the Storm, which I think is actually a really good second generation MOBA. Yeah, one of running arguments with Chalk, I think hardcore MOBAs like LoL, Dota 1 and 2 are bad games that got popular despite themselves, and yeah, you dig some of the variations on the genres. Awesome not to Minimum. Oh, that's right, I never asked you what you thought of Minimum. All MOBAs are good in their own rights, according to Elite Paste, and I agree. And as discussed before, you'll not be banning anyone at all, and your opinions on MOBAs are poorly informed. Well, I don't know. You've played Dota 2. I understand that you didn't care for it, so I mean, these are entertainment products. If it didn't entertain you, it sort of failed in its goal, which means that unless you feel that you are the most unique and beautiful snowflake of humanity, chances are there's going to be people who share your opinions. I'd love it if you got into Dota 2, and I've undergone some conversion efforts. I think I might actually wind up giving Dota 2 lessons to Jesse Quill. But yeah, I completely understand if it's not a game for people. What I would hope is that I'd be able to teach people to be able to watch Dota 2, and especially after watching a film like, let's say, Free to Play, which really gives you an understanding of what's at stake for a lot of these individual players and what their backgrounds are and why they play this particular game over some of their other options. I think there's a great reward in being able to watch it, you know, the same way that people can watch football without actually being a football player themselves. But you know, I don't actually watch that many professional sports, so I can also understand why people wouldn't necessarily want to watch these digital sports. All right, Unknown Arc, thank you very much. If you're still here, thank you very much for hanging out so long. It's always great to have you in the chat. I hope to see you next time. And let me catch up the rest of the way on chat, because there's so much talking. I love it. CPO is trying Smite. I like Smite. I didn't play a lot of it. I kind of felt that it sort of felt like League of Legends from a third-person perspective to me, and I don't necessarily think that that is a bad thing. I don't think League of Legends is a bad game, but given that I only have so much time to play games, and some of that is dedicated towards streaming, I kind of have to pick my battles, and in the end, I have a finite amount of hard drive space. So I've uninstalled Smite for now, but I wouldn't be opposed to coming back to it. Dying can be a good example of how much of an impact learning to deny can actually have on the game. Yeah, I mean, one of the specific reasons why I like Dota 2 is because of the lane mechanics. And that's a specific difference between Dota 2 and League of Legends, or indeed any of the other MOBAs, really. Denying is something that seems to be unique to Dota 2, and I actually really like it. So once a team gets ahead and you see the huge damage done to HP bars, well, you're not opposed to seeing large numbers. Yeah. Every device can be a logical robot. Honestly, I think the worst part of MOBAs are the interaction with non-friends. It gets very frustrating talking to people. Yeah, I have no idea. Oh, tryhards, gotcha. Elite Paste, if you want Dota 2 lessons, I'm happy to give them to you. Mecha Boy, you think System Chalk uses the bad human interaction to fuel his rage? Where do we sign up for Dota 2 lessons? LOL. Kind of want to see Chalk rage, just to see how different he is. Man, you guys really need to see Mike. If you guys have not been watching the co-cast, I am a very different person from how I am on my normal channel. I don't rage, but... Speaking of MOBAs, you need to get around to actually checking out Dark Nexus Arena. Oh yeah, I've got some keys for that I need to give away. I hope they're still good. Let me make sure that my Dark Nexus keys are still good, and I'll start giving some of those away. I haven't actually played it myself yet, but I'll maybe keep one so I can give it a try and give you guys a report. All right, a black cat darts out and weaves between your legs. Distracted, you take a wrong turn and wander down a darkened alley. The mysteries of the carnival await you. All right, let's see this catastrophic failure. Oh God. Okay, chat, get me out of this trouble. The co-cast you had was Sleep and Jesse was... The Wanderlust Adventures one? Yeah. CPO Williams, I seem to have a foul language filter on for some reason, so I have no idea what you called me, but fuck you. Oh wait, I haven't turned 18 on. Fudge you. If you're under 18, please ignore what you heard a few seconds ago. So basically, let Chalk go free without needing to have responsibility, and he goes cray. Yeah, exactly. I think it's probably Wanderlust, and in no small part due to the people in chat. Like a fanboy wants to be independent, and he goes
the
too.
game of eternity that we play. I didn't think that meant you'd take forever to make a decision, mind.
Thanks, Superior Blaze. I'm going to ignore you. Is Blaze the last one? Okay, I'm going for 1 just because it's clearly a troll vote. Huge success! Screw you, Mecha Fanboy and Superior Blaze. A muffled call for help brings your attention to a hall of mirrors. You stride inside, weapon in hand. In the reflected gloom, you can see some cloaked figures moving, but you cannot tell which direction or how close they are. After some time, you come across a small dark pool on the ground. A few coins lie scattered around, stained red with the blood of their previous owner. The dealer draws you 1 gold gain card. You also want to check out Orcs Must Die Unchained. I have Orcs Must Die 1 and 2, but I didn't even know there was a 3rd one coming out. 25 gold, which I'm never going to use. You continue to make your way through the mirrors, but find no other signs of life until you rejoin the street crowds. As you walk away, you wonder what kind of thieves would take a person and leave their gold. Soon you are distracted and the incident slips from your memory. Sometime later, you find yourself standing at the edge of a forest, the sounds of the crowds behind you. Day is just dawning, but which day? Looking back, you see the ruined buildings of a country town, long ago abandoned, and I suspect I don't get the token. The Lovers.
An innocent moment, never to be repeated, except here, where all of your history repeats itself until time immemorial has passed.
In the town of Stygal, I'll call it this time, you meet a man who is serenading a young lady at her window. At your approach, she stops and turns to speak to you. My love and I wish to marry and leave this town, but her father has forbidden it. He is the master of the guild, a powerful figure in I don't even remember how I called it, Stygial, with many armed men at his command. I saw you fighting in the arenas. Please, will you help us escape the town, that we might live together in happiness? Can offer to help, demand payment for your assistance, refuse to get involved, and report him to the woman's father. Yeah, I'll offer to help. Bless you, stranger. Meet us back here at midnight and bring whatever weapons you possess. Draw 1 blessing card. Holy Touch. Undead that physically strike the player may receive damage themselves. Well, I don't really want them damaging me right now. Hours later, you return to find the young couple hiding in the shadows. Gesturing to them to be silent, you lead the way through the town. Large chance of failure. I am not even watching the cards. Let's go for 1. Huge failure. That's what I get for not watching. You don't get far before stumbling into a group of armed guards. It's my father's men, the young lady exclaims, fleeing. Her lover follows her, leaving you to deal with the guards. The dealer draws you 2 monster cards. 3 of mages? Oh god, 6 mages? Orcs Must Die Unchained is set up similar to a MOBA, 2 teams, lanes, etc., but has the Orcs Must Die trap sitting mechanics. Oh, interesting. I mean, I'm not crazy about the fact that MOBA just seems to be the genre that every developer needs to work in, but I definitely like innovation in it, so let's see how I handle 6 mages with 36 health. Where are your fancy books now? That does a lot of damage. After the battle, there is no sign of the young lovers. You quickly leave the scene as more armed men approach from all directions. This card's token is now yours. So the real question here is, well, let me just think. So I've got 14 food, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the long way around like this, just to build up my health. Traveling healer. Okay, well, wasted a bunch of food, but that's fine. In a shady grove off the beaten trail, you find a traveling merchant looking to trade with wandering adventurers. Approach the shop. At least I can buy some food to replace that, but the idea here was just taking the long way around so I could let the food heal me. I didn't know they were weak against lightning. That's good to know. I also need to get a little bit better at using my shield rather than just going in with the mace automatically. So first thing I need to do is heal up as much as I can. And then secondary will be buying food.
A little extra health, but it is only a momentary respite.
5 food should be enough.
I'm sure you are grateful for that.
I'm a little curious about remove curses. Yeah, 400. And the difficulty of picking a successful chance card is increased. Well, that explains a lot. So let's buy another 5 food just because I really don't feel like I'm going to have much use for this gold. Dead King's Hall. You see an ancient ornate coffin in the main burial chamber. It may hold spectacular wealth, but it will surely be guarded. Draw 2 monster cards. 2 of Skulls. 6 of Plague. Attempt to take them by surprise. Oh, good God.
A choice. Select your desire.
It's somewhere on the right. I'm gonna go 4-4. Booyah! Suddenly you leap into the fray, taking one of them down before they can even react. Please be 6 of Plague. It was not luck, but skill. You loot the room. The dealer draws you 3 gain cards. 5 max health. 25 gold. 3 gold. So I'm going to take a chance that the queen is to the south. Again, I've got enough food to sustain the full trip, but let's just try and put an end to this. Traveling mage. In a shady grove off the beaten trail, you find a traveling merchant looking to trade with wandering adventurers. Mages sell only specific items that they've discovered in faraway lands. Their prices can be high, but they also pay well for anything that catches their interest. Approach the shop. Greetings, wise traveler. I have much to offer you. Let's see what they've got. So I've already got the speedy gloves. None of these are really worth it. I could sell my huge hammer, but on the odd chance I run into goblins, I'll save it. One night you awaken to find your belongings being rifled through by goblins. As soon as they notice you stirring, they run away with a piece of your equipment. They have also stolen some of your food and gold. You scramble to your feet and chase after the thieves, so hopefully I'm a little more effective in dealing with these this time. I always seem to wind up losing something. I'm not worried about the food and the gold. I have to get the item back because I want all of them. And I'm missing my shield, so I definitely need to crush them. Oh god, I blew that. What a way to finish that. I didn't even know you could knock guys over the edge. With the goblin threat dealt with, you continue on your way. So let me just double check that that shield is actually equipped. Yep. The Maiden. One day in the shady forest you encounter an elf maiden. She stops to greet you. I am Marith of the Forest Folk. My people have long helped mortals of this realm. What boon would you ask of me? Longer life, which will probably give me about 5 health. No need for supplies, no need for gold, or I could ask to be blessed. Blessing could actually be a bit of a game changer, but let's go for the certainty of longer life. As you wish, Marith mutters and waves her hand. A light shines from your skin. Dealer draws you 1 max health gain card. Many enchanted weapons have powerful abilities that can turn the tide of battle, but only if their wielder remembers to use them. Farewell, mortal.
A queen of power and grace.
This is it, chat. The moment A. Newcomb has been waiting for. The majestic Queen of Scales spits powerful fireballs, and her totem prevents the death of any of her children. It is said that if you destroy a queen's totem, its spell will be broken, and any surrounding lizards will be damaged. It is not known whether anyone has successfully achieved this.
As you plunder the secrets of your memories, you'll gain new cards. Some you'll wish you'd left untouched.
The majestic Queen of Scales spits powerful fireballs, and her totem prevents the death. Oh, we've already said that. So it's telling me I go for the totem. I have it. She definitely hits hard, but I feel like my speed should be able to help with that. Oh god, I'm an idiot. Yeah, it seems like traps. Easy. $21 bets on Shock. Thank you, CPO Williams.
You have destroyed something priceless, my friend. Do you ever wonder if your fell hand and the damage it causes are worthwhile? Petty treasures retrieved from death and disaster.
Let's just turn up the music so we can appreciate the drum beat. I'm going to unlock these. I'm just going to get myself some water. I need to stop doing the playthroughs that have he's on fire. Thank you, Anukum. I definitely need to stop doing these playthroughs where I wind up not taking any breaks. But that was fun. Let's see what the loot is. For gaining the praise of the gods of the old religion, you receive 30 gold, Demon Trader. You were planning on going to bed a while ago, but you wanted to see the end of that dungeon. I'm glad we could end on a high note. I'm actually going to be wrapping up the stream shortly after anyway. It's midnight, so it's, I mean, I'm not that far off from the time that I normally run for these things, but I had a later start. I apologize I couldn't do a little bit more for you guys, but I do need to catch up. But, Anukum, it's, honestly, I mean it each time. I know I talk to you all the time, but I actually really like it when you're in the chat. It's really nice to have somebody who was there from the first fledgling Kerbal streams. The guy, incidentally, who encouraged me to do Extra Life the first time I ever streamed. It actually means quite a bit to me that you still give me that support. So I really appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate you giving up sleep to hang out. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you on Facebook and hopefully getting a chance to play some Crusader Kings with you. So have a great night. All right. Add them to the library. For purchasing a portal to another land, you receive Surprise Portal. For trading so enthusiastically with the stranger in the shadows, you receive Blood Auction. For defeating the Lich, you receive the following cards. Gain 5 food, Mask of Exhortation, Occult Reflection, Disciples Ring, and Druids. For turning back the Golem hunting parties, you receive this card. Gain 25 gold, draw 3, select 1 from the armory, Hag's Wraps, and Summoned. For helping the lovers, you receive 30 gold and the Angry Guildmaster. And finally, as a reward for defeating my Lizardman Queen, you receive Immovable Object, Shield Breaker, Enormous Shield, the King of Plague, and the Minotaur Maze.
We come close to an end for all things.
Alright, so let me just take a quick minute here to see if there's anybody I can host. I was debating on doing a round of Quiplash, but it occurred to me that I'm just taking a look at my drop frames. My internet connection has been pretty thin tonight, so I think Quiplash is going to be too loud. Well, okay, actually, one thing that I could do is I could do a game of Quiplash, but I couldn't participate in it. It would have to be 100% audience participation. So if there are enough people who want to do Quiplash, I'll gladly watch you guys play around before I finish for tonight. Alternatively, I can host. We've actually got Seriously Clara up playing Darkest Dungeon, which I think would be a lot of fun. So if you want, I can send you off to that. I will wait a couple seconds in chat, and if we're finishing off, I will just say my goodbyes, and we will jump over to Seriously Clara's chat. Boo hiss Quiplash. Okay, so CPO Williams is on it. Might as well just host if I can't be involved. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, tell you what, we'll bank Quiplash until I have a little bit better internet connection. That way, what I think I'm gonna do for the Quiplash streams is I'm going to set it up, and then I'm actually gonna play on my iPad using the Wi-Fi, which is outside my window. My internet service provider provides like a Wi-Fi you can use outside. I think that might be a way that I can sort of divide the bandwidth a little bit. Oh, okay, now everybody's saying they want to do Quiplash. Let's do that next stream, guys, because I think Mecha has a good point that if I'm not participating in it, it's just kind of, you know, it's not quite the same. And more importantly, it'd be really nice to give Clara a host during the last little bit of her Darkest Dungeon. So I want to take a minute and say I had a lot of fun doing that run. It's a lot longer than normal. I mean, we really did just one run of Hand of Fate, but I definitely felt very challenged by it. It was lots of fun having the interaction in terms of, you know, having some cards that went against me, having some cards that went with me. I felt I was going to lose it a couple of times. I got past a lot of bosses, which I haven't been able to get past before. Got a ton of loot out of it. So that was a really fun playthrough of Hand of Fate. For those of you who are still on the fence about this game, I cannot recommend it enough. If you feel it's too easy at the start, it will pick up at the end for sure. Looking forward to trying Endless Mode and just seeing everything that there is to there. But as always, you guys gave me a lot of support during the stream. It was a lot of fun having you guys participate. One of the reasons I like Hand of Fate so much is the fact that you guys can participate with things like the random draws and talk about me pulling off either a boneheaded or a sick play, both of which I am equally amused by the responses from you. And just in general, as I say, you guys give me a tremendous gift by having yourselves not just here, but being so active in chat, because clearly I don't do a face cam, I don't do any of these other things, so having a chat that I can respond to rather than me monologuing for about 3 hours is something that makes my job both a little bit easier, but a lot more fun. We had a lot of support from Team Panda today. I want to specifically mention out the hosts from Miss Aurelia and Superior Blaze, but also all the people who stopped by. We had Sleepringer, we had Kite, we had Leap Paste. Lots of people coming into the stream and just giving us the support. So with that in mind, let's give ourselves a host to Seriously Clara's channel. Seriously Clara is the partnered streamer who sort of runs Team Panda, and I am a mod for. And Darkest Dungeon is a nice little segue from Hand of Fate. So I hope you guys have a good night. I hope you stick around to check out Seriously Clara. I see Carney's gonna go. Looking forward to CK2 on Friday. Lorgosh, I'm actually just wrapping up for tonight. So have a good night, Carney. As for the rest of you, if you have not seen Darkest Dungeon before, awesome narrator, really good game, and Clara's a really good broadcaster. So I am going to bid you a very good night. I'm going to host her. We don't really have any kind of a formal raid message or something like that, but if you want to let Clara know that you came from the channel, I'm certainly happy that you let her know. Until then, there's probably going to be some more co-casts in the future. Don't know what's going to be happening in the oncoming week. I will be sure to tweet it out. I'll try to let the Steam group know. And if we don't have any co-casts over the course of the week, I will definitely be back for some Friday